to get through.
Hey guys, good morning, good morning. We'll be on the air in just a minute.
Any difficulties, call me, 561-777-2021. That's 561.
Those of you that are in my Marco Polo group, I just posted a video. I'm not going to talk about it here, but something that happened on the way into the radio station this morning. Oh my goodness.
Live every Saturday at 11 a.m. as your psychological source. Be careful, not fearful. You don't have to do this alone.
President Donald Trump here. When Melania and I put our heads down at night, it's on.
Of course, we're going to talk about the press conference.
My pillows. We always use the best promo code Kane at checkout at mypillow.com. That's Kane for huge savings. That's promo code Kane at mypillow.com.
Traveling and need a COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work or school. Stop by Any Lab Test Now of Boca or Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. They offer all the COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is located in the Sandalwood.
Make sure you like the video. If you're new here, subscribe.
Road and north of Hillsborough on the east side of
Good morning, everyone.
Call 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the sole authority.
Oh yeah, that press conference.
You can receive your very own.
I'm going to throw this out on the air, but I'm going to ask you guys to do this in the chat room. In one word, describe your reaction to the press conference. In one word. Not two words, no more, just one word.
7060.
Describe your reaction, your observation in one word to the Biden presser.
Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing?
Pathetic, sucked, cringe, worthless. Oh my goodness.
Call toll free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Are you guys telling your friends to sub to my channel? I'm trying to hit that 50,000 subscriber number. You all can help me do that by getting all your friends to subscribe. When you're in other groups, tell your friends in those groups to sub.
That's 1-888-OK.
All righty. Yes. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. Oh, man. That's right. 45 years of the Steve Kane Radio Show on the radio and still going strong. Oh, man, we got lots to talk about today. Had a bit of an adventure and a happening on the way into the radio station this morning that I'm not going to talk about on the air, because it is probably still unfolding as we speak, but a little shook up, but that's okay. Things happen. That press conference yesterday with Joe Biden, about almost 2 hours long, this may seem strange to some people out there when I say what I'm about to say. You know, that press conference was a disaster on many, many levels. A disaster. But Joe Biden and the White House, I think, believe that it was a success. That press conference went on for almost 2 hours. And after Biden stopped taking the prepared fake questions that were pre-scripted that he had been rehearsing from the reporters on his list, and he went rogue and random and went to James Rosen and Ducey and others, that's when it really got unhinged. But the White House and the Bidens, Joe and Jill, believe it was a success because he was able to stand up there and speak for 2 hours. They think he looks like he's a strong man. And I'll tell you, Joe Biden is so out of it. And I don't take pleasure in this. I said this during the campaign. A lot of people make fun of his cognitive decline. I find it frightening. That press conference to me was frightening. But I don't make fun of someone who has a health issue like that. In many ways, he's a victim of elder abuse from his wife, in my opinion, and the opinions of others, I'm sure. And you know, when he's so out of touch with reality, he doesn't realize he's confused, he's rambling, he's incoherent. He has no clue. He thinks he looked like a physically fit, energetic, competent president yesterday, which makes it even worse. And I'm going to play some of the clips of the press conference, but there's two clips in particular I'm going to play. One's from the press conference. One is from CNN's analysis after. Of course, James Rosen, who's the new White House correspondent from Newsmax TV, and those wondering why Emerald Robinson left, my guess is that they dropped Emerald Robinson, who has now been hired by Mike Lindell from MyPillow. I announced that yesterday on the program. I think they got rid of Emerald Robinson to bring in James Rosen. James Rosen was at Fox for a long time. He was let go at Fox for, was it some sexual harassment claims? I don't know. But he did a really good job yesterday in that press conference, and he was the only person in the press conference that addressed the elephant in the room. So I'll play that exchange, and then I'll share with you what Van Jones said on CNN later. But first, let's just play James Rosen, because this was the most important question and response in the entire press conference. James Rosen of Newsmax.
I'd like to raise a delicate subject, but with utmost respect for your life accomplishments and the high office you hold.
You know, this is so interesting because, you know, James Rosen was called on quite by accident. He never thought he'd get called on. No one thought anyone would get called on except these safe reporters. And James Rosen, who asked the only important question in that entire press conference yesterday, see how respectful he was of another human being, of the man who holds the office of president. Even though Biden, you know, I don't respect Biden. He's everything we've ever said he was. But James Rosen's a gentleman. This is how you do it. And none of these reporters ever showed this type of respect to President Trump. But I was pretty impressed with James Rosen, not just his question, but how he showed decency as a journalist here. But anyway, back to it. James Rosen, Newsmax's White House correspondent.
I'd like to raise a delicate subject, but with utmost respect for your life accomplishments and the high office you hold. A poll released this morning by Politico Morning Consult found 49% of registered voters disagreeing with the statement, Joe Biden is mentally fit. Not even a majority of Democrats who responded strongly affirmed that statement.
Well, I'll let you all make the judgment whether they're correct.
Well, so the question I have for you, sir, if you'd let me finish, is why do you suppose such large segments of the American electorate have come to harbor such profound concerns about your cognitive fitness? Thank you.
I have no idea.
All right.
Wow. I have no idea. And then he went on to the next person. You know, I've seen a lot of presidents, and I know you guys have too, and the ones we haven't been around for, we've seen clips. And, you know, anytime, whoever the president is, half the country love him, half the country hate him. If they're a Republican, 95% or more of the media hate them because they're Democrat, right? So there are always partisan things. And reporters bring up difficult questions sometimes. You know, I remember during the Clinton era, it was, you know, children couldn't watch press briefings during the Clinton era because it involved, you know, all of his flings and everything, you know, that going on. You never knew what would come up. But there has never been a president whose mental fitness was questioned. Now, they did question Reagan in the campaign in the 1980 race just because he would, and not because he showed any signs of anything, because he had no problems. He was perfectly physically and mentally fit. But when he was running for president in 1980, they said if he were to win, he would be the oldest man ever elected to the office, which was true at the time. So they were accusing him of having cognitive issues that he did not. I've never seen anything like this. I mean, America is in crisis. Does anyone disagree with that? America is in crisis because we have an incompetent vice president and we have a president that is mentally unfit. And then Van Jones on CNN, let me share this. This was interesting for a couple of reasons. Van Jones, who is a very well-connected person, he's left his wife now that he has his children with. But Van Jones, whose wife is white, his ex-wife, a lot of you may not know this. Do you know who Van Jones is married to? He is married to the daughter of Billy Carter. Van Jones, he has children with her. Van Jones is married to the niece of President Carter. And that came as a shock to me when I first learned that. A lot of people still do not know that. He is a very, very big political insider. I just assumed he knew Obama somehow and everything. This guy's very connected. How was he so close to two presidents, Carter and Obama? And he gave some analysis about the mental fitness of Biden. Listen to this. This is Van Jones, CNN, after the press conference.
And look, I think that part of the reason that answer stood out so much is because some of the other answers were kind of foggy and meandering. I think you just have to be honest that you can be a foggy, meandering president, say like Reagan near the end, if you're winning. But if you're foggy and meandering on key questions and you're also not winning, then you've got a real problem. And so I think the real challenge that you have is the numbers are out there that are bad. But this party has got to come together and start putting some wins on the board for this president. They either got to start, they're going to either hang together or they're going to hang separately in the fall.
Okay. So what Van Jones is talking about here is complete nonsense. First of all, Ronald Reagan was not foggy at the end. That is a liberal urban legend. That is not true. I remember that's when he was doing those summits. And I remember the final summit, if I remember correctly, of Reagan's presidency, Gorbachev came to New York. And I remember watching this on television live. Gorbachev came to New York to meet President Reagan for this. It was, I believe this was the final meeting between Reagan and Gorbachev of his presidency in New York. H.W. Bush was there, who was the vice president, but he was also, if memory serves, president-elect. And if he wasn't president-elect, he was expected to have win. It's been a long time. But I do believe he might have been president-elect then. Maybe. It's been a long time. I was in school then. I was in high school. I thought about it a long time. But Ronald Reagan was not slipping. In fact, not that long ago, a few months ago, I watched a bunch of Reagan interviews that he did his last week in the White House. His last few weeks in the White House, he did a lot of interviews with different people in the White House, in the residence, and they're pretty interesting. He talks about John Wayne and a lot of people. You can find them all on YouTube. He was sharp as a tack like he was on day one. So Van Jones is wrong about Reagan slipping in the White House. There was a slanderous biography, Dutch, that came out after he left the White House that said that he was suffering from Alzheimer's in his last year of office. I don't know if that's the case. Nothing's muted on YouTube. You got to turn your volume up, Ken. But let's just say that he was for the discussion Ronald Reagan, which he wasn't. This guy is checked out and has slipped out his first year in office. He's got 3 to go and says he's running again. There's a big difference. Ronald Reagan was not slipping in the end. But if he was on his way out. And he had competent people around him, including the vice president. George Bush may have found out later that H.W. was a creep, and he certainly was, but he was competent. And he had competent people around him, Ronald Reagan. But if he was slipping in the first year like that, what do you think the media would do? Honestly, partisanship aside, I don't believe Joe Biden is mentally fit to be president of the United States. And there should be immediate calls for him to resign based on that. And I know a lot of people say, well, we'll be screwed with Kamala. The withdrawal of Afghanistan, the disaster that it was, that Biden says he has no regrets for, even though 13 American service personnel, men and women, were killed at the airport. That happened because he had a fit of rage over his cognitive decline and wanted to show that he was with it and was giving orders to get out of Afghanistan that even the military told him was a disaster, but he had to show he had the big boy pants on and had his wits about him. And he got people killed doing that. Kamala Harris is a disaster, and she's a stupid person, but at least she would listen to some competent people. This is dangerous. You know, all this talk about Putin and Ukraine, what Putin is doing with Ukraine is testing the United States, testing Biden to see how far he can push, what he can get away with, and if he feels he can, he'll make a move. But I want to ask you a couple of questions here on the radio as we go into our first break, and you're all welcome to call in on both of these questions. I might have more than one question, but I'm going to ask questions. I'm not going to put a number on it. One, do you believe Joe Biden should resign from the presidency, be forced to resign from the presidency, based on that press conference yesterday? I mean, you even got CNN talking about his mental decline. Second question I want to ask you is, and I asked people this in the chat room, but I'd like you to call me on the air about both of these questions. That's the first question. Yes, no, and why should he resign immediately, simply based on his mental state? The second question is, in one word, describe your reaction to the press conference. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call from anywhere. 1-888-465-2631. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio in Florida for 45 symbols after this. Well, now, you guys in the chat room, you got to call and tell me your answers. It's a radio talk show with callers.
One of the reasons that we were hit the hardest is we weren't prepared when it came to PPE, because everything was manufactured in China. On the line, we have former Congressman David Emery. He's now CEO of Strategic Manufacturers, a subsidiary of
Wesley Lewis, $5 super chat. Thank you, Wesley Lewis. Everyone, please thank Wesley. Good morning, Brian. Harris should invoke the 25th Amendment immediately. Absolutely. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
Say you can't make anything in the United States anymore. It's too expensive. It costs too much. We don't have the materials here. How are you going to bring production of PPE to the United States?
Well, the reason we can't is because we haven't. We gave it up. It was a policy for 3 or 4 decades that we build all the fancy stuff here and all the average stuff we import, and now we're paying the price for it. We certainly can build things here. We have the skills, but we have to have the willpower to do so, and that is the central focus.
Steve Kane Show.
Bring manufacturing back to the United
Hold on.
States. Through our analysis and our due diligence, we believe that this is not only profitable, but will lead the way for other companies in the future to continue the trend to remove, to
listening audience who want to participate, who want to help make us independent when it comes to PPE, how can they participate?
Well, go to our website, sbdgstock.com, and you'll find additional information. Investment opportunities are available for accredited investors, and if you're an accredited investor, you'll know what that means. But it's really critical for American citizens, government, policymakers, business and industry, labor, to get behind this effort to bring manufacturing of strategic materials, critical materials, back to the United States. And that
Steve
is
Kane
what
Show.
SMI is all about.
To learn more
Hey, hold
about
on.
strategic manufacturers or to get information on becoming an investor, call 919-654-6870. 919-654-6870. Online, strategicmanufacturers.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just so.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, and I'm going to go right to the phones. Of course, we're talking about the press conference with Biden yesterday. Only one opening on our board at 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. Arnold from Orange County, California.
Hey, Arnold. What's up?
Well, I saw the press conference, and I've got some comments about it. I think that if they were to put together a loop, the Democrats, of the press conference, there'd be enough material in there to have Joe sound almost competent. So I think that what we've done as Republicans, we've led the people to the well. They are now, in these recent polls, saying that Joe is cognitively in decline. So now it's time to get off of that and hammer hard on he is incompetent versus incoherent.
Well, it's dangerous. It's dangerous.
Well, we have no standing. There's no standing because right now, the way it sits until the next election.
No, that's not true. We get a dialogue going, a discussion going on this, both on conservative media. There is conservative television, social media, Twitter, Facebook, radio shows like this, YouTube, and everywhere else. And when you get a dialogue going, you get a trend going. And I'm putting partisanship aside. I mean, he's a scumbag and a criminal and a corrupt public official, everything else. But mentally, he's out of it. Even CNN is saying it. And regardless of our thoughts about what a disaster Kamala would be, at least she's got her wits about her. I think she would be in a panic, but she would rely on advisors, and hopefully she would choose a vice president to nominate that would be competent. This is dangerous. We've got a global issue going on with the pandemic that they're floating around. We got China on the move. We've got Putin on the move. And yesterday was one of the worst examples I've ever seen on television of someone live with Alzheimer's or something similar to it.
Yes, I agree with everything you've said. However, it's time to stop hammering about him being incoherent and dangerous and all that. We all know that. Now it's about being smart and now leading the public and the leaders of this country to understand he is incompetent. And
well, he's mentally incompetent because that's not a partisan thing.
No Democrat is going to bring that forward.
I don't think so. I don't think so. No, I don't agree. They've already broken ranks. Is
to neutralize him.
No, he is. Excuse me. The Democrats have already broken ranks, right? You have CNN talking about it and acknowledging it. They lost their big filibuster vote yesterday. We have Democrats that have stood up and said no. So no, they're believe me, we're not that far away from them coming out and saying that he is mentally incompetent and too mentally incompetent to hold the office.
They don't like Harris enough not to do that. They are not going to do that. The way to do this and approach this is to win the midterm elections and call him incompetent, and then the rest of America will get the...
That's a damn year away, man. That's a year away. He has declined.
10 months away, and that's all.
No, excuse me. That's the election. That's the election. Hold on. That's the election. Then you got to wait. Then there's time before they actually have the new Congress. Then they got to have committee hearings. Then they got to have witnesses. You're talking about something a year and a half away at best. And this guy is slipping, and he's slipping fast.
Yes, I agree with all of that, but it doesn't mean anything if no Democrat is going to charge him with anything.
They will.
They're not going to do.
Well, listen, just because Democrats aren't going to take a position on this or anything doesn't mean that Republicans should not. Hey, listen, Orange County, California. Take care. Thanks for the call. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Mike from Massapequa.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, I'm just so grateful that the president, with all of these major issues, took the time to alleviate my concern that I was turning into George Wallace.
Oh, yeah.
I kept going to the mirror and said, am I actually turning into George Wallace? And he said, no, you're not. People are confused with what I said. You're just acting like George Wallace. So you're a racist, but you're not actually turning into George Wallace. He remedied my very serious concern.
Yeah, you know, that was a textbook example of the incoherence of the press conference with him yesterday. Hey, listen, I'm all for a good joke. I don't find it funny. This guy's got his finger on the button, and as I was saying before the break, the Afghan withdrawal happened prematurely. They got Americans dead, hundreds, maybe thousands held hostage, is because he had to prove he was with it. And he went against every advisor that he has in every branch of government and did something that got Americans killed and taken hostage because he had to prove that he had his wits about him. And he obviously doesn't. This is dangerous.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. I think he had in his mind, this is what I'm going to do, and he didn't care what the facts were.
Yeah.
And I wasn't trying to make everything a joke. I was just trying to point out the amount of time with this guy failing to have a press conference for 6 months. He comes out and wastes time on acting like he actually believed that people thought that he was saying that they were turning into George Wallace.
Okay. Hey, listen, appreciate the call, Mike. You know, when it comes to, he's repeating himself, so there's a couple different phases of dementia that I've seen in people. Okay, the first phase Biden used to have. That's the phase where you know you've got a problem, right? You know you're confused. You know you're lost. You've forgotten your words. Your memory's not working. Okay, but you're aware that you're having these problems. And that's how he used to be. What we saw from Joe Biden yesterday was the next step, where he has lost self-awareness. He is not aware that he was slipping, that he was confused, that he was lost, that he was wandering in his language. He's not aware of it. That's much, much worse. Now, I'm going to tell you, cognitive decline is not a good thing. It's not a fun thing. I don't make fun of it. But there is something that can help with cognitive decline. And that is hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Mitch Matez at the BioStation. You know, Dr. Mitch Matez at the BioStation brought hormone replacement pellet therapy to South Florida, 2005 or so. He was the first doctor to bring it to South Florida. I'm a patient of Dr. Matez, and I'm here to tell you that hormone replacement pellet therapy works. And it does a great many things that you hear me talk about all the time. Gives your energy back. In women, it stops and reverses menopause, stops hair loss in its tracks. In men and women, the hair you have left grows back thicker, fuller, restores your sex drive, your ability to have sex. All of that you hear me talk about a lot. But it also, hormone replacement pellet therapy, works to improve cognitive decline. In fact, if Joe Biden If Joe Biden began hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Mitch Matez at the biostation, you would on a dime see a whole new man. I'm serious. So if you or your significant other or a parent or a loved one is suffering like Biden, call Dr. Mitch Matez at the biostation. It's a completely free consultation if you mention you heard them on the radio. Meet with Dr. Matez for that free consultation. He'll talk to you about everything hormone replacement pellet therapy can do, including help with cognitive issues. Here's the number, 561-320-8893. Now, if you ever miss a number of one of our sponsors in a commercial, go to stevekaneshow.com, click on the sponsor page. All our sponsors and contact information is listed there. 561-320-8893. It improves memory as well. 561-320-8893. Dr. Mitch Matez at the biostation. And make sure you tell him that you heard about him on the Steve Kane Radio Show. We'll be right back.
This is Lori Kane, and I want to tell you about Brighton Dental Care. I just had a lot of work done, and I avoided going to the dentist for a lot of years because I was afraid of the cost. But I went to Brighton Dental for my free consultation, which, by the way, he offers to all Steve Kane listeners. I had 2 cavities, I needed a crown on top and a crown on the bottom. If I were a horse, they would have put me down. So I scheduled my appointment for the next Saturday because Brighton Dental has Saturday appointments available, and they saved me a ton of money. And I will be a patient for life. Don't let cost stop you from taking care of your teeth. Brighton Dental gives Steve Kane listeners incredible discounts on all dental procedures, just like they gave me. Prices are so reasonable, you don't have to worry about the cost. So call Brighton Dental today at 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. You can visit them at brightondental.com and tell them Lori Kane sent you.
If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the importance of preventative foot care and has provided coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients. I want to introduce you to my good friends at the Soul Authority. At the Soul Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to 1 pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name-brand shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width and extra depth to stop diabetic foot problems before they begin. Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the Soul Authority at 954-597-7060 or online at thesoulauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
Sophie, $50 super chat. Thank you. Everyone, thanks Sophie G. Welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Those of you on hold, stand by. I'll go back to the phones in a moment. I just want to recap for people just waking up. We're talking about the Biden disastrous press conference yesterday, which I find frightening. And James Rosen asked the most important question, and the only, and in fact, not the he asked the only important question yesterday, the elephant in the room. And Biden went on for like 90 minutes, and he stayed up there way too long, and he started he went rogue and started calling on reporters for questions that were not on the pre-approved list of reporters with the questions that they had in advance that they rehearsed. And he went to James Rosen, the new White House correspondent for Newsmax TV, who asked the only important question during the entire press conference.
I'd like to raise a delicate subject, but with utmost respect for your life accomplishments and the high office you hold. A poll released this morning,
a snack
Politico morning
in the winter hat the other day,
found 49%
Does that mean
of
good,
registered
Sophie?
voters disagreeing with the statement, Joe Biden is mentally fit.
I'm not sure what that means.
Not even a majority of Democrats
like a candy
who
wrapper.
responded
I think like a candy wrapper.
Strongly affirmed that statement.
That's what she
I'll let
means.
you all make the judgment whether they're correct.
Well, so the question I have for you, sir, if you'd let me finish, is why do you suppose such large segments of the American electorate have come to harbor such profound concerns about your cognitive fitness? Thank you.
I have no idea.
All right.
Wow. I have no idea. Then he moved on. That was amazing. And give credit to James Rosen. He's new at Newsmax, and he handled that question with such respect where he couldn't be discounted by a partisan tone. That was a real reporter asking a real question. And Van Jones's analysis on CNN after the press conference is this.
And look, I think that part of the reason that answer stood out so much is because
She means like a candy wrapper.
Were kind of foggy and meandering. I think you have to be honest that you can be a foggy, meandering president, say like Reagan near the end, if you're winning. But if you're foggy and meandering on key questions and you're also not winning, then you've got a real problem. And so I think the real challenge that you have is the numbers are out there that are bad, but this party has got to come together and start putting some wins on the board for this president. They either got to start, they're going to either hang together or they're going to hang separately in the fall.
Okay, so foggy. See, this is the beginning. So my question to you is, should Biden resign based on the cognitive issues? Should Kamala invoke the 25th Amendment? Should we? And I know people say, well, Kamala would be a disaster. She's an idiot. She would be a disaster and an idiot, but at least she is alert. She's a very alert idiot. Look at how she behaved when they lost the vote in the Senate. She had to read off the response. She was there just in case they needed her for a tiebreaker. Listen.
On this vote, the yeas are 49, the nays are 51.
Yeah, and then she got up and walked out. She couldn't face the music. But at least she's awake, alert. She may be stupid. Not may, she is. She is stupid, but she's awake. She's alert. We're in a very dangerous situation. What do you think? Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
You know, my one word to describe this is Katrina.
Oh, you did. That's a great. I was also asking in a word, describe the press conference. You say Katrina, which was a devastating hurricane that hit Louisiana. That's a great word to describe it.
It was a triple disaster. Think about it. You had the storm first. You had the flooding of New Orleans because of the broken levees, and then you had how the governor at the time handled the situation.
Yes.
It was a triple disaster. So yeah, Katrina.
Yeah.
Right. At one point, I would have agreed with you about having Biden go see Dr. Matez, but I think he's too far gone now for that.
Oh, you'd be surprised. Dr. Matez has patients in their 90s. No, you would see a remarkable difference. You would see a dramatic change in Joe Biden, physically and mentally, if he began hormone replacement pellet therapy. I don't think the White House. I don't think they're going to take my endorsement. They don't like me. You think Joe Biden would take my endorsement? I don't think so. But I know there are people in this audience who know how it's improved their cognitive issues.
It's big. It's big to hear Van Jones say what he just said, because think about it. Who is he married to? He's married to Jimmy Carter's, daughter?
Niece. No, he's divorced from Jimmy Carter's niece. He's probably with another woman. I wonder if his new girl is Caucasian, too. I don't know. Hey, Mike, thanks for the call. But Katrina is the word that Mike in Louisiana uses to describe that press conference yesterday, and that's a great one. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Jim from North Carolina.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah, hey, my word would be malcontent at first. I don't like watching Biden on anything, but I did put myself through watching the press conference. But my first reaction, it always has been since the fraudulent election, her, have a press conference or whatever with her and ask her about why she's doing this abuse on her.
Because listen, Joe's a scumbag, right? Hunter's a scumbag, and he's led a life of crime. Jill Biden, who raised Hunter, did a great job there, Jill. Jill Biden has been by his side the whole time. And I know she comes off like she's a librarian or something, but she's like a mob wife. Okay? So she's just as much of a lowlife as he is. So she's not a respectable person, and she is victimizing him. She is committing elder abuse against Joe Biden, and I mean that. I've said this for quite some time.
Yeah, but I think if they don't put enough highlight on her and put her on the hot seat and ask her why she's doing it.
I tell you, she's doing it. Why? I know why. Why do you think Jill is doing this? I'll tell you why if you don't get it. Why do you think Jill Biden is doing this cruel thing?
She's doing it for her own personal gain, as far.
She wants to be first lady, the money, and frankly, she is running the country. She's running him. I know there's different factions that are doing different things, and a lot of agencies are running themselves. I get that. But in her mind, she's running America. That's why she's doing it. Yeah, she's not a good person. She's not a loving wife, and she's just as bad as he is. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning, Brian. Jeff from the Ranches.
Hey.
Two quick things. First thing is, I'm kind of like in shock that our replacement would be, the only qualification would be that she could breathe, because pretty much.
Well, and be awake and alert and know what's going on.
Oh my gosh, that's a terrible. It's the laughing stock of the history of the world. And the second thing is on what he did yesterday. There's one word, and I'm gonna just throw that out there. There was a fumble.
A fumble?
Be in charge. Fumble. It was a fumble. Who was supposed to be in charge of him yesterday? Because they dropped the ball.
Yeah, and he stayed up there past the prepared questions from the list of reporters. That's when it really went down. It was bad before, but when he got off the list and went rogue, that's when it really went south. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. But I mean, don't you? I mean, I find it frightening.
I am scared to death. I think most of America.
I want you to think about something. When George W. Bush became president, there wasn't much going on in the world. A lot less than now. And then 9/11 happened. You know, we just had a terrorist attack in Texas at the synagogue. If there were a 9/11-like event, how could this government respond with this guy?
They would come together and say, "This is what you need to do," and lock them up, because they can't trust them out there in the public's eye making decisions or representing.
No, but in a situation like that, it has to go through him. He has a lot of power. Like I say, he did the Afghan withdrawal against all the advisors, military and civilian, and did it, and look what happened. Thousands of Americans left behind, 13 American service personnel killed at the airport. So, and that's because that's how much power, even in that position, he has.
Yeah, he's the most powerful elected official in the world, and to go out there and freelance with what we know will happen would be a disaster.
Now, if Kamala became president, our only hope would be that she would appoint a competent person to be the vice president. That's how it would work. She'd appoint someone. They'd go through they'd go through confirmation similar, not the same. I think it goes through the House, but it's similar to a cabinet position. I was a little boy when Ford went through it, so but I don't know if there's any competent Democrats. It could be any Democrat. I don't know who she would pick, but she could pick Hillary. She could pick. She could even actually. Some people believe that a former president can be vice president so long as they never assume the office. I don't know if that would hold up, but I think that there would be, as much of a disaster and as stupid as Kamala is, at least I think she would be in such a panic she would listen to advisors, unlike this guy who's got to prove that, the reason he stayed up there extra is because he wanted to prove to the staff that he's in charge, not Psaki.
Oh yeah, and I think you're 100% right. I think that's and the only option that's out there that seems like it would at least keep us from heading there.
Mm-hmm. All right. Hey, Jeff in Ranches, take care. Thanks for the call. Let's take our last break of the first hour. We'll be right back.
Steve Kane radio listeners love Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca.
I went over to Champagne Automotive, and I got to say that this man is the most fair mechanic I have dealt with in my entire life. We took a car over there that was not being used yet. It belonged to my 90-year-old dad. Everybody I had taken it to before was charging an astronomical amount of money. But when we took it over there, Eddie took a look at it, and I got to say that this man fixed the car. It's running like a charm. Anybody that needs a mechanic, I strongly recommend Eddie, and he is just the best thing that's happened to this family as far as car maintenance goes. It's fixed. Bottom line, it's fixed, and the price was right.
Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your car that your car doesn't need. And their prices are low. Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca. Give them a call. 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority
Steve Kane Show.
It's possible for you to still take care of your feet while
Hold on.
remaining in your home.
Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
Your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that Medicare pays for this visit. So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give the Soul Authority a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for it.
All right, we're back 10 before 7. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio, 45 years, since 1977, when Star Wars was in theaters for its original run. Steve will be joining us in progress later. We're talking about this frightening press conference. I'm asking you out there to, in one word, describe the press conference. I think Jeff in Louisiana had the best word. He describes it in one word as Katrina. Yeah. And also, we're asking, should Kamala invoke the 25th Amendment? Should Biden resign based on the cognitive decline that we saw in him yesterday? Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Sherry from Texas.
Sherry in Texas. What's up?
I watched it yesterday, and at the age of 55, I don't think I have ever felt a level of fear and anxiety.
Anxiety? Really? Why do you feel this anxiety over it?
It's just the carelessness and people, the administration failing to admit how this can turn catastrophic with him being in office. Sitting there, the way he answered, I mean, there were some of the questions that he didn't even answer, or there were at least a 5-second pause, and his responses were just very unsettling. And the direction, I mean, he's incompetent, and you had mentioned that Kamala Harris is at least coherent. I feel that is just as dangerous as Biden not being coherent.
Well, where he took it yesterday, that was a step further. I was talking about this in the first segment of the show. It used to be, he's had this cognitive issue since he was running, okay, so that's not new. But in the past, he was aware of it. He knew he was confused and lost. Yesterday, he was clueless. He thought he looked great. He thought his answers were sharp. He is now no longer aware of his condition. He has lost self-awareness. So he's gone to another, I'm not a doctor, but I've seen a lot. I'm in Florida, right? We got the oldest population in the country in Florida. We see people all over in this situation. So he has lost self-awareness about his condition. So that's a step much further than we've seen him in the past, in my opinion.
It is. And in that matter, watching, I eventually had to turn it off. I couldn't finish watching it. The thought of where our country is and where our country is heading, and the catastrophic steps that the Democrats are taking to keep themselves in.
Well, the Democrats lost a big vote yesterday, right? That was another big loss. They've had a lot of losses lately, so they're trying, but they're not getting their agenda through. Do you think Kamala should bring in the 25th Amendment? Is he so mentally gone that we would be better off with Kamala, Willie Brown's girlfriend?
I honestly feel that we would not be better off.
Really? Really? Would it be the same? Would it be worse?
I really don't think she's got the knowledge to be in the position that she's in.
Yeah, but I think she would at least do what I think she would be terrified. I think when she started getting the presidential daily briefings, she started to freak out. When they find out what's really going on, right? I've seen it in her. And I think she would even be more terrified to assume the office. But I think she would take the advice of advisors, unlike this guy, which would help us a little bit.
That's definitely a good point. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. But to know to do the 25th Amendment and take over all of the damage that Biden has done within the first year.
Well, there's something. Okay, listen. Kamala Harris is a terrible person who's done terrible things to get where she is, including openly dating a married man, Willie Brown. When she was Attorney General, she was putting African American parents in jail when their kids skipped school, all for political gain, right? She's done a lot. She's like Hillary Clinton. They have both done a lot of dirty, disgusting things to get a step away, right? And to be the first female president of the United States is that means they will name colleges after you. You will have history books in 200 years about you. There's a big deal with that. And she's got to be aware that she's not going to win the election. That if she were to get the nomination, she's not going to get it. Biden still says he's running, so she may not get to run till 28, right? After, if he were to win or even if he were to lose, it's an opportunity for her to get what no other woman has achieved, and she could do it by looking like a heroine. Like, she could come in as a savior. If think about this, and I want to throw this out to you guys in the listening audience. Kamala Harris can call a press conference anytime she wants. She's the vice president, but she really doesn't work for the president, right? Her cabinet position is really ceremonial. If Kamala Harris came out and had a press conference and said that she has consulted with professionals and she's seen it with her own experience that Joe Biden is no longer physically fit, and I am calling on the cabinet to invoke the 25th Amendment to the Constitution, she would come out in the end. She'd be president and first female president, and she's a minority. She's got a trifecta there, and she could come out as a heroine saving the country from the senile old coot. And if she handled it the way that person who was helping Joe.
The triangulation of manipulation and control. Very scary.
Well, we're talking about Democrats.
Thanks, Brian.
Well, thank you.
Glad that you're out there to inform the people. There's not many of you out there like this.
Well, thank you very much.
Panama City tomorrow.
Oh.
Be there for 10 days. So I'm ready for a break. Keep your...
Panama City, Florida, right? All right, take care. Thanks so much for your call. Oh, boy. Now, yesterday I announced, Mike Lindell has hired Emerald Robinson. She left Newsmax. She got banned from the Twitter. Mike Lindell hired Emerald Robinson for frank speech, gave her own show. It was announced yesterday on this program. And Mike Lindell said at the Trump rally, when you go to MyPillow.com and buy something, using the promo code KANE, of course, K-A-N-E, you're supporting his efforts and frank speech. And you're supporting, when you use our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, this broadcast. And I want to just go through some things. Everything at MyPillow.com, every special you see, you can take advantage of with our promo code KANE. Everything makes a great Valentine's Day gift. But I wanted to show you, I wanted to go through something here. Mike Lindell, with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, has a ton of items that are 50% off. Listen to this. There are new MyPillow blankets, 50% off with our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. The MyPillow quilts, 50% off with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. The MyPillow down comforters, 50% off with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. The MyPillow 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets, oh man, I have 4 sets of these. I have 2 sets of regular, 2 sets of flannel. Been sleeping on the flannel this week, and I woke up with under the flannel sheets this morning from MyPillow. They are, oh man, so warm, so toasty, so comfortable. Those are buy one, get one free. But if you buy just one set, it's 50% off with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. The men's and women's sleepwear, 50% off with the promo code KANE. There's just a lot of incredible deals. The MyPillow body pillow, which is the full length of the human body that you can curl up with. Steve has one of these. 66% off the MyPillow body pillow with the promo code KANE at checkout. There's many other great specials there. They all make great Valentine's Day gifts. And you'll be supporting this program, Mike Lindell, his efforts, and, of course, frank speech, and now even Emerald Robinson with our promo code KANE at checkout. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879, promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. All right, 1 hour. Longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back with the second hour after this.
Covered AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network, WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Brian Craig here. Conservative Doug called me up live on the air to tell me about his experience at Friendly Tire.
I had 2 bow ties in the back of my Infinity. So I called them up, and I always check prices first. Half the price of everybody else.
Half the price? Half the price at Friendly Tire. Wow.
Half the price.
Dan, $5 super chat. Everyone thank Dan. Thank you. Thank you. I went to bed thinking like Sleepy Joe, and thanks to MyPillow, woke up thinking crystal clear and sharp as a tack like President Trump. Thank you, Dan. Wesley Lewis, $10 super chat. Everyone thank Wesley Lewis. Hillary is salivating at the thought of becoming vice president under Harris. If that were to happen, then eventually we would see Hillary ascend to the presidency. God help us if that happens.
That is phenomenal, and came with a 60,000-mile warranty on the tires. That's great. And of course, Friendly Tire, they never charge you to mount the tire.
I don't think Kamala would pick Hillary.
They give you are out the door and on the road. And
I don't think she'd pick Hillary.
That's right. Listen, give Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire a call. His number, 954-977-9445. He'll give you a quote right over the phone, 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net, or you can just stop right in. The address is listed at stevekaneshow.com. 5415 Northwest 15th Street in Margate, and that's just a little north of Coconut Creek Parkway on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Well, Conservative Doug, thanks so much much, and I'm glad you got such a great deal on your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Yeah, when the pandemic hit America, our nation was caught off guard and unprepared. One of the biggest problems was we didn't have enough PPE.
Be right back.
Because everything was made in China. There is a solution to this problem. Small Business Development Group has formed strategic manufacturers to produce medical exam gloves and associated raw materials right here in the USA. This way, supply chain issues will never be a problem again. This project is U.S. funded, owned, and managed. Best of all, it's without reliance on the foreign supply chain. Investing in this critical infrastructure is important to the safety and defense of America. Now, here's where you come in. If you're an entrepreneur, venture capitalist, or high net worth individual interested in this investment opportunity, contact Small Business Development Group at 919 area code 654-6870. 919 area code 654-6870. Learn more about this incredible opportunity. 919-654-6870.
Small Business Development Group is a publicly traded company. Stock symbol SBDG. Online at c2cpic.com. Find strategic manufacturers online at strategicmanufacturers.com.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer. That
You guys, if you follow me on Marco Polo, I had something happen to me on the way to work today. I talked about it on the Marco Polo video I made right before I went on the air this morning. If you're on there, check it out. And I'm not going to talk about it on the air, but I did put it on Marco Polo.
And 3 custom inserts. Call the Soul Authority today, 954-597-7060.
Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-COCAINE.
All right, welcome back. 4 minutes after the hour, I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. This year, celebrating 45 years on the radio, the Steve Kane Show. That's right. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. We're talking about, of course, this disastrous press conference yesterday with Joe Biden. And I've been asking 2 questions. One, in a word, describe your reaction, your observation of the press conference. I think Mike in Louisiana had the best word. He said Katrina, referencing Hurricane Katrina, of course, if you've forgotten. And we're also talking about Biden being so far gone, as we saw. Is this an opportunity for Kamala to come in and make herself president and invoke the 25th Amendment? A lot of people, this was in our YouTube live chat room during the break, or somebody had said, well, she'll pick Hillary, but Hillary must be salivating, blah, blah, blah. I don't think she would pick Hillary Clinton to be her vice president. Number one, they're not going to have 2 women there. Women don't, sorry, I got to put my mic on. Okay, women do not like to be working with other women. They don't like to be under other women, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So she would not pick Hillary Clinton. Plus, Hillary Clinton would be undermining her at every opportunity. I don't think she would pick Hillary Clinton. The Democrats, without question, the Democrats and the left-wing corporate media do not want Biden to run. We've talked about this, right? They're pushing for Hillary. And for people out there who think that Kamala wouldn't have the backing, I wouldn't be so sure about that. Kamala could make a deal. Kamala could make a deal. Let's invoke the 25th Amendment, and I agree not to seek out the nomination in 2024. She still will be president. She would be the 47th president of the United States and a historical figure forever in American history. And that would make her, and that would be a good deal for Kamala. I know people are still talking. I can't remember who said this. I don't remember if this was on Twitter or an article I read this morning, but I saw one person was talking about they're still talking to her about taking a Supreme Court position. Why should she do that? You know, Kamala Harris could go to the Clintons. She could make a deal with Hillary. Hillary's still, you know, the Clintons still have a lot of sway, as do the Obamas. She could go to either of those two crime families, the Clinton or the Obamas, and make that deal. Back me, garner support to remove him with the 25th Amendment. I will not seek out the nomination in 2024. And I think she could broker that deal. They want Biden out of the way. This is very obvious by press coverage in the last few weeks. All right, let's go to the phones. I want to hear what you all think. One, describe in one word your reaction, your thoughts on that disastrous press conference yesterday. Two, should Kamala invoke the 25th Amendment and remove him because of his severe cognitive decline? 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, Jose. I'm Coconut Creek. How you doing, buddy?
All right, Jose in Coconut Creek. What's up?
Yeah, I'm actually driving up 95 again. I always call you when I'm going to paddleball. Listen, no, you know what? I came home and he was about an hour and a half into the press conference. I immediately turn anytime I see him, I immediately turn it off. But it was on Newsmax, so I kind of like left it on, and I was doing some stuff in the kitchen. And I was kind of, for a little while, I was like, when they said, oh, you know, I've been going an hour and a half, I was kind of impressed. I was like, fuck, you know, like, maybe I can't.
Wait, do I have to dump you? What did you say? I don't know what you just said there.
I didn't say it. I said.
I don't say it again because it sounded like it could have been something else, but that you didn't say.
No, it was. I was.
Okay.
That this guy lasted that long, and I gave him a shot. You know, I really gave him a shot. But if you notice, when Peter Doocy and the guy from Newsmax, who, by the way, used to be with Fox,
James Rosen.
Yeah, James Rosen. When they asked questions, they only got one question each, and then they moved on, right? They didn't. Everybody else got two questions except those two. Number one, that's what I noticed. And then as he was talking, I'm like, you know, he paused a lot and he was thinking about what he was going to say, and you know, I'm like, okay, you know, he's old. I'll give him a break. When he lost me completely, was when he said he's done more in 1 year than any other president in history.
That's insane. I mean, you know, Franklin Roosevelt, the New Deal, almost the entire New Deal, almost every aspect of it was in his first 100 days or so of being president in his first term. I mean, that's just absurd.
Well, I mean, he's done more to destroy the country than any other president.
Well, that's how far gone he is. See, this is what I was talking about in the first hour. See, I think he has hit another level of the cognitive decline. Before he knew he was lost, he would try to cover. He's at the point now where he's lost self-awareness and is not aware that he's checked out. He thinks he was sharp as a tack yesterday.
Right, they had to have given him something.
Well, it didn't work. It didn't work.
You think it was a complete failure?
Yeah.
For the Democrats, they're all like going, "Oh my God, he made it 2 hours."
No. There were some people there that said, "Okay, he stood up there for 2 hours." Absolutely, yeah. There'll be some Democrats who think that.
Yeah. But anyway, man, I had so much to talk to you about the other day, and I know that you got to stick to your, like.
Well, mention one of them, and let's see if it's good.
I'm sorry?
Well, pick up one of the things you wanted to talk about. One more thing, and then we'll see.
I can't remember.
You can't remember? Oh, you're like Biden. You're losing your memory. Hey, Coconut Creek, thanks for the call. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
I'm glad that Jose just called. You know, the person that we both talk about.
Oh, that's your friend. That's your friend that won't play paddleball with you anymore. He said you're not good enough to play with him.
Not because of me, because of this guy Jack.
Okay.
That we call Jackass anyway. And he gives me a call last night saying, "Did you hear the great president?" I said, "Yes. Last Saturday I heard President Trump." Oh, no, I'm talking about Biden. I said, yeah, Biden, great. I mean, great at leaving hostages in Afghanistan.
You're telling me that guy who's, I think he was saying great sarcastically, if it was the same guy I just talked to.
Yeah, it's the same guy.
He was being sarcastic.
Yeah, I was being sarcastic to this guy, Jack. I said, he's great at wrecking the country, this, that. Oh, no, he's the greatest president of all time. It's like, I said, I don't know what's wrong with it.
That I think it was all sarcasm. If it's the same guy I just talked to.
Same guy, but no, I'm not talking to Jose. I was talking to this guy, Jack.
Oh, you were talking to the third person, Jack. Okay, the guy that sucks at paddleball. Okay.
And a guy who's friends with Debbie Watson and Schultz, unfortunately. I mean,
he is a personal friend of Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Personal friend. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! And he tells people that.
Yeah, he calls me the miserable liberal. He would vote.
Well, so what are your thoughts on the press conference yesterday?
I didn't. I won't listen to that. I know that.
Well, then how can you render an opinion? No, I watched it. I watched the whole thing. I mean, you got to watch it. You got to watch it. You got to. Listen, let me tell you. By the way, thanks for the call, Doug. Because we have a 24-hour news cycle, this doesn't happen anymore. But before we had the 24-hour cable news cycle, if a network came in and said breaking news, and then the anchor would come on, you stopped what you were doing because there was a crisis going on. It might be a plane hijacking, might be 9/11, it might be military action by the United States bombing Libya in '87, something like that, or was it '86, whatever. That press conference yesterday was equal to that. That press conference yesterday with Biden. Why were people watching that press conference? Why do you think? People were not watching that press conference because they wanted to hear what he had to say or interested in him celebrating his first year in office. People watched that press conference for the same reason they slow down when there's an accident on the side of the road. They wanted to. 99% of you who tuned into that press conference yesterday, you didn't tune in for information from the President of the United States, who was having a live press conference on television. When President Trump was having his 2.5, 3 hour long pressers during the beginning of the COVID pandemic, we tuned in not just because we love and support President Trump. We were in a crisis, and we wanted to find out the information from the President Trump, what he was going to do. The reason people tuned in yesterday was to see how incoherent he was, how out of it Biden was. That's why people tuned in yesterday. That's the only reason people tuned in yesterday. And that's why if you didn't watch it live yesterday, you really did a disservice to yourself. I know some people maybe didn't watch it because it's too scary. I get it. But that's why people were watching it. No other reason. And if you were watching that press conference for news and information, you got to call. I just can't believe that anyone would do that. Our number, toll free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. One of our listeners sent me 2 bobbleheads, one of President Trump holding the American flag, and another of Joe Biden wearing pajamas, holding a stuffed animal, holding a pillow. Wonder if that's a My Pillow. And it says Sleepy Joe on it. And the base of it, he's standing in a bed. And, when you see Biden yesterday, you see a man who is in severe cognitive decline. And I want to tell you, this is a very good opportunity today to tell people about Dr. Mitch Matez at the Bio Station. You hear me talking all the time for many years about what hormone replacement pellet therapy has done for me and what it can do for you. Restore your sex drive, restore your ability to have sex, give you your energy back, make you athletic again, stop your hair loss, and women completely stop and reverse all the signs and symptoms of menopause, 100%. And there's many other benefits that I talk about. One I don't talk about because I'm not there. I'm not at that point in my life like Biden. those that are suffering from cognitive decline. Hormone replacement pellet therapy works wonders on people suffering from cognitive decline, like Joe Biden, like you saw yesterday. And I've seen this in listeners that I've met myself before and after hormone replacement pellet therapy. And I've seen listeners, I've met them, they're slipping. They're scooting their feet like Biden, like George Burns used to do, right? I see them after they begin hormone replacement pellet therapy, they're alert, they're with it. They have their wits about them. They're sharp as a tack. That's right. So if you're suffering from cognitive decline, or you have a family member, a loved one, your significant other is, call Dr. Mitch Matez at the BioStation and go and talk to him on how hormone replacement pellet therapy can help you or your loved one or your significant other with their cognitive decline. Now, listen, it's a completely free consultation with Dr. Mitch Matez at the BioStation if you mention, when you call, that you heard about him on the radio. Everyone else has to pay for that. But listeners of the Steve Kane Show, free consultation. Here's the number, 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893. One more time, 561-320-8893 for Dr. Mitch Matez at the BioStation. We'll be right back.
AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hi, Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Building Restoration. We survived the 2021 hurricane season. Now it's time to get your building envelope ready for the next season. Laporta Contracting installs all types of roofs, from asphalt, clay, and concrete, standing metal seam, flat roof.
By the way, Debbie sent those bobbleheads. Is Debbie in there today?
Protection to include siding, stucco, concrete restoration, impact windows and doors, weatherproofing, and painting. Laporta Contracting serves single-family, multifamily, HOAs, and commercial properties. Call Laporta Contracting today for a free evaluation and estimate, and go to our website to see our team and past customer videos at laportacontracting.com. Our number is 954-604-4602. That number again is 954-604-4602. And thanks for listening to the Steve Kane Show.
Do you think you've come in contact with someone who has coronavirus? Steve Kane's wife Lori did, and she went to Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs to find out if she has coronavirus.
So I came into contact with somebody who tested positive for COVID, and I was scared, and I needed results right away, so I went to Any Lab Test Now in Coral Springs. It was great. I didn't want to have to stay in line for 2 hours and have a
Yeah, I thought that was a good place to keep the bobbleheads so you guys can see them behind me all the time in front of my radio. See, this radio, this is how I check the radio station. So you can hear me, there's the delay.
602. And thanks for listening
See?
to the Steve Kane Show.
Do you think you've come in contact with someone who has coronavirus?
See? That's how long our delay is.
15 minutes of your time to have peace of mind and know that you and your family are safe. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. You can call them at 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsboro. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Oh, man, we're talking about this disastrous press conference. The Daily Mail, total disaster. Biden is slammed after his rambling first press conference in 78 days, in which he claimed he had overperformed during his first year. Oh, my goodness. Overperformed. I mean, that's insane. Let me go through some of these clips. Let's see here. Hold on. Let me pull this one up. This one, Biden got a little angry at a reporter.
You campaigned and you ran on a return to civility, and I know that you dispute the characterization that you called folks who would oppose those voting bills as being Bull Connor or George Wallace, but you said that they would be sort of in the same camp.
No, I didn't say that. Look what I said. Go back and read what I said and tell me if you think I called anyone who voted on the side of the position taken by Bull Connor that they were Bull Connor. And that is an interesting reading in English. I assume you got into journalism because you like to write.
Okay, now he's getting pissed. Now he's trying to humiliate the guy, and he humiliates himself. See, Joe, he's back in his head before television, before the internet. About television, he doesn't know about the internet. He doesn't know about streaming. Whew.
I didn't say that. Look what I said. Go back and read what I said and tell me if you think I called anyone who voted on the side of the position taken by Bull Connor that they were Bull Connor. And that is an interesting reading in English. I assume you got into journalism because you like to write.
So did you expect that would work with senators?
Now, it's interesting now you see this reporter, you hear he's laughing at Biden. Hear it when his voice, listen.
I assume you got into journalism because you like to write.
So did you expect that would work with Senators Manchin or Sinema?
No, here's the thing. There's certain things that are so consequential. You have to speak from your heart as well as your head. I was speaking out forcefully on what I think to be at stake. That's what it is. And by the way, no one forgets who was on the side of King or Bull Connor.
Yeah, you were on Bull Connor's side against King, Biden. Just like all your other friends, like that endorsed you and supported you, like George Wallace. This anger thing, see, a lot of times, now again, these are just my own personal observations. In Florida, we have the oldest population. Florida, Governor DeSantis even said this once. I've never heard an elected official say this, but Florida is often referred to by Floridians as God's waiting room because we have the oldest population in the country. So you see people with cognitive decline all the time, and they are cranky. They are crotchety. Oh, man, I see this sometimes. I was at Walgreens the other day, and a guy was just screaming at the pharmacist because his prescription wasn't ready, and it was, people that are suffering with cognitive decline do the anger bit because that covers that's when they're most alert let me clarify that. They're not more alert. They think they sound more alert. They think they sound more with it. If they're angry, it's like they have energy and it comes off as anger for some reason. And this is a common thread with people that suffer from severe cognitive decline like Joe Biden is.
Days of this country are still ahead of us, not behind us. I'm happy to take questions. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. I know some of my colleagues will get into some specific issues, but I wanted to zoom out on your first year in office. Inflation is up. Your signature domestic legislation is stalled in Congress. In a few hours from now, the Senate, an effort in the Senate to deal with voting rights and voting reform legislation is going to fail. COVID-19 is still taking the lives of 1,500 Americans every day, and the nation's divisions are just as raw as they were a year ago. Did you overpromise to the American public what you could achieve in your first year in office, and how do you plan to course correct going forward?
Why are you such an optimist? Look, I didn't overpromise, and what I have probably outperformed what anybody thought would happen.
I've outperformed? I will give him that. The disaster is a performance greater than we imagined. This goes to another everything about this press conference shows that he's lost his mind, that the cognitive decline is deep. He doesn't even realize he's been a failure. He thinks he's had great successes. This is why when he said let's go Brandon during that Christmas Eve phone call, and what that showed is that he does not follow what's going on in the media enough to know about the Let's Go Brandon Ice Bucket Challenge phrase that's been circulating around. That was the first time he heard it. That's how much of the news they're keeping away from him. He very well may not know that he is a failure because the information they give him is very controlled, very limited. Here he is on Afghanistan.
Highly unusual. My dad used to have an expression. He'd say, son, if everything's equally important to you, nothing's important to you. There is no way to get out of Afghanistan after 20 years easily. Not possible, no matter when you did it. And I make no apologies for what I did. I have a great concern for the women and men who were blown up on the line at the airport by a terrorist attack against them. But the military will acknowledge, and I think you will know a lot about foreign policy, that had we stayed and I had not pulled those troops out, we would be asked to put somewhere between 20 and 50,000 more troops back in, because the only reason more Americans weren't being killed than others.
Okay, goes on. So he has no regrets. He left them behind an army, weapons, an air force, hundreds, maybe thousands of American hostages, 13 American service personnel killed at the airport, but he has no regrets. And he pats himself on the back for the brilliance that he did, that we had to pull out. 20 years. We're still in Germany. We're still in Japan. It's been 70. Then they ask him about the polls.
Cures for the rest of the world as well.
Hear that? He can't even speak.
Cures for the rest of the world as well.
Whoa.
If I could, sir, and I should have said this before, Francesca Chambers McClatchy, how do you plan to win back moderates and independents who cast a ballot for you in 2020, but polls indicate are unhappy with the way you're doing your job now?
I don't believe the polls.
And then he moves on. I don't believe the polls. You know, and this is an interesting thing about this. I don't follow polls either. And the reason I don't follow polls is because the Democrats manipulate the polls that we see in the news. It's called push polling, to push public opinion in this direction or that direction or another direction. You know? And all polls are left-leaning polls. The significance of that is in the left-leaning polls, liberals want him out, want him gone. Don't think he can hack it. Think he's checked out. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's your wife.
Oh, hey, Kathy. My wife, Kathy. What's up, Kathy?
I think people are misunderstanding what Biden meant when he said, I've overperformed and done better than people thought I would. I think he was coming from the point of view that he understands people think he's incompetent and he's out of it. And in his mind, he's done better than people thought he would because people had such low expectations and because people around him, he hears the whispering and he knows, you know, how people are talking about him. And in his mind, he's like, well, I've done better than they thought I could do, kind of thing. That's kind of how I took it.
Oh, really? I didn't think about it that way. So his mind, everyone said he'd be a failure, but he's gotten through the first year. Because people were talking about he would be forced to resign. A lot of people thought Kamala would be president by now, but he made it through the first year without stepping down.
And I took it like he was saying, I've made it. Look, I've done better than they thought I could do. So he's like proud of himself. That's how I took it.
That could be. That very well could be. Yeah, I'll give you that.
That's it.
Yeah. Now listen, before you go, I'm going to take this opportunity while I have you on the line, because it's time for a break, and I think this is a good opportunity to talk about our 100% Giza cotton MyPillow Dream Sheets. We've been sleeping on the flannel MyPillow sheets the last few nights because it's been so cold, even here in Florida. Tell people a little bit about these wonderful MyPillow flannel Dream Sheets.
They're absolutely amazing, and I have them on because it's chilly here.
Yep.
when you're up north, it's super cold. But for us, if you go below 70 degrees, it's considered cold. And I have the sheets on, and they're super soft. The only downside is you don't want to get out of bed.
That's true. I woke up this morning and I felt so comfortable with the 100% Giza cotton MyPillow flannel dream sheets. I didn't want to get out of bed either. It was so comfortable, so perfect. Oh man, yeah, absolutely. Now the MyPillow sheets, buy one set, get a second set free with the promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. And remember, on that BOGO offer, you can mix them up. You can get 2 flannel, 1 regular, 1 flannel, different colors, 1 solid, 1 striped. You can mix the second one up any way you want. So go to mypillow.com, buy one, get another set free with our promo code KANE on the MyPillow sheets. All right, Kathy, take care. I'll see you later when I get home. And you can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. And I want to point something out to our liberal whiner callers who say, you're going to hang up on me. I was just talking to my wife, and how did that call end? With a hang up. Someone's got to hang up, right? And when I'm on the radio, it's got to be me. Oh my goodness. But liberals are always victims. All right, listen, our number's toll free. If you're on hold, stand by. 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. We will be back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Attention seniors and those who care about them. This is Brian Craig. I'm in studio with Debbie from I Will Advisors. She has an incredible new service to tell you about called I Will Advocates. Debbie, what is I Will Advocates and how are you helping seniors?
Well, Brian, over the past few years of owning a Medicare insurance agency, we've learned that there's a huge need for Medicare advocacy, that a lot of people don't have a child or a spouse that can assist them with their medical needs, and that's where we step in.
There's a lot of things that seniors need help with. Prescriptions, doctor's appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling an appointment in a timely manner, we can step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy, having problems refilling a prescription, or feel that you're being mischarged for something, you can contact us and we will step in. Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we'll be there for you at a touch of a button, whether it's to call the nurse's station or assist in any other way.
So if someone's in the hospital, they feel they're not getting the care that they need, they haven't seen their doctor, they haven't seen their nurse, they can actually call you and you'll contact the hospital for them?
Absolutely. We act as your family. We'll step up, we'll call the nurse's station and ask for some assistance. If we can't get anything done there, we'll go to the higher levels.
Now, this is a service that you're offering. Now, they do not have to be an existing client of I Will Advisors to take advantage of this, right?
Oh, of course not. No, we're here for any Medicare client. We can assist in any way. We don't need to be your insurance agent. We're just here to help you with your medical needs.
This is an incredible opportunity for those of you who are Medicare recipients. Debbie at I Will Advocates will help you with your prescriptions. You'll set up doctor's appointments for them, including the primary care physician and specialist, right?
Of course. We'll assist in anything, helping you find new doctors.
They'll help you with your medical billing. They'll help you with your insurance billing. If you feel you've been billed wrong by your doctor, they'll step in for that and even help you if you're in the hospital. Basically, what you're offering is a concierge service to senior citizens.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before. So how much does this cost?
Well, for just $20 a month, you will have the security of knowing that you have an experienced, compassionate advocate just a touch of a button away.
To learn more, call Debbie's office. The number, 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Or go online. You can sign up online at iwilladvocates.com. That's iwilladvocates.com.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
All righty. 36 minutes after the hour, I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. I'm Brian. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. Now, one thing I noticed in the press conference that probably no one else noticed, The mainstream media, the liberal media, and the White House are obsessed with COVID. They'll never let this go. They have all kinds of rules, mask rules, and everything. The White House has pushed just incredible restrictions on people throughout this country, including on those in attendance of the press conference, forcing them to wear a mask. While Psaki doesn't wear a mask, Biden's not wearing one. They're talking up there for hours. The White House, now this may seem like a minor point, but I think it kind of exposes a little something here. If the White House is so concerned about COVID precautions, why did they take the very same microphone and put it to the mouth of every reporter that asked a question of Biden yesterday for 2 hours? They had one microphone. They all used the same mic. It went right up to their mouth, each and every one of them. That very well could be a super spreader event or not. Those are the only. I'm probably the only person that noticed that. But I don't even use. I have my own microphone here at the radio station. I do not share microphones, ever, 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 because they pass germs. I used to use whatever mic was at the radio station when I first started out, and I got sick all the time because everyone's putting their mouth up to the same microphone. I got my own mic, stopped getting sick so much. But the White House passed the same mic and put it up to the mouth of every reporter at that White House press briefing yesterday. I can think of nothing more irresponsible than that during a pandemic when they're obsessed over things. Okay, now yesterday we were talking about this media slander about President Trump and DeSantis, that they had a rift. Talked about this for a good portion of yesterday's show. I told you there was no conflict between Governor DeSantis and President Trump. All fake news. The original source was the New York Times. It was a slanderous lie in the New York Times, and then every other reporter copied and pasted it and committed plagiarism. Okay, all day. For 2 days, actually, until the press conference started yesterday. And yesterday, listen to this. In a conference call to journalists yesterday, President Trump said, "I have a very good relationship with Governor DeSantis." This was on a conference call with a small number of reporters when he was asked about the supposed rift. The call was to promote his coffee table book, Our Journey Together, which I have, autographed by President Trump. I made a YouTube video showing my autographed Trump book. You can see it on my YouTube channel. Trump took questions on everything from the January 6th investigation and impeachment to whether he had plans for another book, and he was asked about Ron DeSantis and said they have a very good relationship. And, you know, this wasn't on television, but it wasn't a print interview. It was a telephone conference with multiple reporters. And you know, those reporters, at least some of them, recorded it. And not one piece of audio has leaked out from that yesterday. Now, I know we got a big story happen yesterday with Biden in the press conference. I get it. But not one news source released the audio of President Trump saying, DeSantis and I have a great relationship, because they want to keep that false narrative going in the media. If anybody finds the audio of that, send it to me, but I haven't seen it anywhere yet. I don't think it's been leaked out. All right, let's take some more calls. 1-888-GO-CANE-1. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Brian. It's Richie.
Hey, Richie.
Yeah, you know, when you go into a van store or a parts store and you ask for a part for your car, you understand the guy takes out this big book and starts looking up answers to your question if he has parts. When you go to your doctor, if your doctor pulled out a book for every question, or every time he went to examine you, he pulled out the book and started doing research before he put a stethoscope to you, you kind of get nervous, wouldn't you? Well, this guy, he calls out reporters yesterday, and everything, he had all these notes all over the place to answer questions. Now, to me, that's the biggest thing that I took away from.
You could see him You could see him. It was like Greg Gutfeld on the 5. He was always reading his jokes. we'd get the question that was on the list from the reporter that was pre-screened, and then he also had the answer to the question they were going to ask. But then he went rogue and started asking questions of reporters not on the pre-approved list of questions. That's when Rosen came in.
Yeah, that's when he fell apart, and that's when he showed his anger, and that's when he just started to lose it, and that's what.
Yeah, but how aware do you think it is? Because as bad as he was getting beat at the very end, he says, "Well, if you ask me some quick questions, I'll answer them quickly." Do you really think he's self-aware to know how far gone he is? I don't think he is.
I personally think he is. I think he knows. No, I just think that they're in such denial. The whole crew. It's not just him. You just have to watch one of Giussacchi's press conferences, and when they ask her a question about what's going on today, where everybody knows it, and she'll deny it, say we're all nuts. See, is not what you get. You go into Walmart. You try to order chicken the other day. This guy starts telling you that 80, only like 2% is less on the shelf than before he took over. They're total denial.
You go to Walmart, the meat section is empty.
This is like Russia in 1960.
I know, exactly. It sure is. Yeah, that used to be the big joke about how their stores were empty in the Soviet Union and ours were overflowing, and now it's in reverse. In fact, on YouTube I follow these some Russians on YouTube that just vlog around life in Russia. And you go on YouTube and you'll watch people go into Russian grocery stores. They're well stocked. And our grocery stores have empty shelves.
Venezuela. I'm going to bring up Venezuela because my wife was from Venezuela, okay? When brother used to come up here, he used to look in the soup. First thing he wanted to do was go to Publix. He said, unbelievable. Now, if you know anything about Venezuela, when the crisis started, when they took over and the socialists took over, most of their supermarkets are empty and the people are outside with rationed food, okay? So they're being rationed. But if you go to the rich areas of Caracas, the supermarkets are full of food. Now, I guarantee you, if you go into Washington, D.C., you ain't going to see shortages on anything.
Oh, really? In Northern Virginia, like where Psaki lives, you think they're fully stocked in D.C. and Virginia?
I think these people live in a bubble. And they don't.
Well, I mean, when is the last time Joe and Jill went into a grocery store and went shopping?
A million years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe never. Maybe never.
They're not normal people, and I think this guy knows. I think this guy's just a devious.
Now, I'm sure that Melania and Barron go shopping every week at that Publix down the street from Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, I just think that, and our Publix here, by the way, is starting to lose food. I had people talking to last night. They said, "Have you been in the Publix or Walmart lately?" And I said, "No." They said, "There's no chicken."
There's no chicken. Yeah, of all things, chicken. You would think it'd be more beef, but chicken seems to be what's in short supply right now.
And I mean, this is crazy. And this guy seems to be, they're a month behind everything. This virus that's out there now. Now they're going to start sending test kits when it's on the decline. And they're going to start sending masks out when this is on.
Well, this is an interesting thing because my wife went online to see if the website worked. Okay? Because we were talking, I said, let's check out the website because maybe the same people did it that did the Obamacare website. Do you know the website said that they sent a test kit to my house? And we didn't order any test kits. I go to Any Lab Test Now with Boca, but it said that a test kit had been sent to my house already. We didn't send for a test kit, but it said and that's how they're gonna measure it. They're gonna talk about all these kits they sent out. My house is gonna get counted. We didn't even ask for a kit.
Well, that's like, I hate to say it, that's like the election because.
Anything the government does is manipulated, corrupt, and fails. Hey, got to run. It's time for our last break. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
Pandemic hit America. Our nation was caught off guard and unprepared. One of the biggest problems was we didn't have enough PPE because everything was made in China. There is a solution to this problem. Small Business Development Group has formed strategic manufacturers to produce medical exam gloves and associated raw materials right here in the USA. This way, supply chain issues will never be a problem again. This project is U.S. funded, owned, and managed. Best of all, it's without reliance on the foreign supply chain. Investing in this critical infrastructure is important to the safety and defense of America. Now, here's where you come in. If you're an entrepreneur, venture capitalist, or high net worth individual interested in this investment opportunity, contact Small Business Development Group at 919 area code 654-6870. 919 area code 654-6870. Learn more about this incredible opportunity. 919-654-6870.
Small Business Development Group is a publicly traded company. Stock symbol SBDG. Online at c2cpic.com. Find strategic manufacturers online at strategicmanufacturers.com.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
Hi, Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Building Restoration. We survived the 2021 hurricane season. Now it's time to get your building envelope ready for the next season. Laporta Contracting installs all types of roofs, from asphalt, clay, and concrete, standing metal seam, flat roofs, and slate tile systems. Our building restoration offers complete envelope protection to include siding, stucco, concrete restoration, impact windows and doors, weatherproofing, and painting. Laporta Contracting serves single-family, multifamily, HOAs, and commercial properties. Call Laporta Contracting today for a free evaluation and estimate, and go to our website to see our team and past customer videos at laportacontracting.com. Our number is 954-604-4602. That number again is 954-604-4602. And thanks for listening to The Steve Kane Show.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on Untitled Radio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, we are back. 49 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. It's The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. On the radio since 1977. By the way, any lab tests now of Boca and Coral Springs, they have same-day PCR testing. They are also open on Saturdays. No waiting, no appointment, in and out in just a few minutes. You know, New York City is, we'll get back to the press conference in a bit, guys. I just saw a story that is so disturbing. I got to share this with you. It's very disturbing. New York City is dangerous as hell. I mean, my goodness. I saw a photograph yesterday. You may have seen this. People waiting for the subway train behind the turnstiles because they're afraid they're going to be pushed in front of a train. Can you imagine? It's frightening, isn't it? That's New York. I know. Well, the police, this is in the Gateway Pundit. An unvaccinated child was taken away by police from the Museum of Natural History in Manhattan yesterday. And there's video of this and audio. Unfortunately, there's some people in the background dropping some F-bombs. I can't play it for you on the radio, so I just got to read about it. But I did tweet this. It's in the Gateway Pundit, if you want to look at the video yourself. The girl was with her mother as part of a protest against mandates in New York City. All children over the age of 5 years old are required to be vaccinated in order to enter indoor spaces such as the Museum of Natural History in New York City. The group of protesters entered the museum without mandated vaccine identification passport papers. They were denied entry by staff after paying for their tickets. They were asked to leave the museum due to a lack of a vaccine passport. When they declined to leave, security called the NYPD. After a peaceful protest that lasted over 3 hours, the police arrested the group. According to witnesses, security locked the group inside the museum until police arrived. The terrified child was seen flanked by 2 police officers. The child was escorted down the museum stairs towards the waiting NYPD police vehicle and taken away. And it's a very frightening photograph that, and the video is very intense. It's very intense. All children in New York City are required by executive order to have the vaccine and documentation proving it to enter all restaurants, amusement parks, arcades. Do they still have arcades? Movie theaters, music and concert venues, museums, aquariums, and zoos, as well as sports arenas, indoor stadiums, convention centers, exhibition halls, hotel meeting, event spaces, performing arts theater, bowling alleys, pool, and billiard halls. Kids going to billiard halls. And there's another list that goes on and on and on. This is really, we are in, without question, a police state. And, you know, and conservatives, you know, we're Blue Lives Matter, we support the police, you know, so I don't want to attack the police. But when you get into these Democrat areas, New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Baltimore, you get into these Democrat areas, most everybody there is a Democrat, certainly the police. In Florida, we have some Democrat cops, but most every police officer I've ever known is a conservative, is a Republican, right? How many cops in Florida do you know that are Democrats? Sometimes the political people that run for office and are political animals to get appointments, but I'm talking about rank and file police officers in Florida typically are conservative Republicans. You go to these liberal places, they're Democrats because it's a Democrat town. They're born Democrats, and they're government workers. This incident of arresting everybody and taking the child away from the mother, this is one of those instances that is at the discretion of the police. The police did not have to arrest the mother. The police did not have to take this young girl crying away from her mother. They didn't have to do that. That's something that they chose to do. And I'll tell you another thing. A lady cop did it. A lady cop did it. I wonder if this lady cop policewoman has kids, because it's hard for me to believe that a mother, although she may be a mother of another kind, that a mother of children would do this to a child. You know, we haven't really got any accurate numbers on this, but you really got to ask yourself, what do you think the exodus of New York City in particular has really been like? How many people have left New York City and the surrounding areas because of these incredibly crazy restrictions? I've seen more New York plates on the street than ever before prior to the holiday season. You know, the snowbirds come to Florida after New Year's typically. They were here weeks and months earlier. More New York plates than I've seen. I had to go to the DMV a few weeks ago to get a new license plate, and I couldn't believe at the tag agency how many people I saw in the parking lot switching out their out-of-state plates for Florida plates. You know, I know that's what people go to the tag agency for. I've seen people do that, but not in this number. Most people are locals like me who need a new tag for a car or something else. I've never seen, it was a parking lot filled with out-of-state plates and people switching their out-of-state plate to a Florida plate. And I saw some of the people, they seemed excited about doing it. Pennsylvania, New York, and elsewhere. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. After the top of the hour break, I'm going to get back into the Biden press conference. But first, we're going to check in with Janet Cimarelli. That's right, Janet Cimarelli, licensed nutrition counselor from AJ's Natural Wellness Shop at the Festival Marketplace. For the Morning Health Report, Janet Cimarelli, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, changing those license plates, and you say they have smiles on their faces. Have you seen the weather in New York?
Yeah, I think it's more than the weather, though. I think it's the freedom of Florida they enjoy.
I know that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk about glutathione, and people are saying, glutathione, it is the master antioxidant. It's the antioxidant that's going to protect your eyes, your liver, your heart, your brain, every little cell all over your body. I said brain, heart, liver, lungs, kidney, eye, and your gut. Okay, and what does it do? It protects those little powerhouses within each and every cell, and we want lots of them. When we were in high school and we were learning about biology and stuff, we were told, well, there was one little powerhouse, one mitochondrium
Steve Kane Show.
Cells, but what we know now is there are lots of them, and glutathione powers them up. Okay, so if you want to get rid of all of those free radicals that are part of how your immune system works, so your immune system goes after a virus, helps to protect the cell, does all of the very special forms that your immune system is meant to be doing, and then there's a lot of debris, and the glutathione helps to wipe out the damage the debris may be doing. So, what's the important news right now in the middle of this pandemic? It is that the people who have the least severe illness are the ones with the highest glutathione levels. So come on into AJ's, because I have a wearable that increases your glutathione by 300%. Can't ever do anything like that when you're taking something orally. Oral use, very, very helpful, but in particular, 300% higher in 24 hours, and that gets your natural killer cells to start working. And we have a whole array of health supporting approaches in wearable form. So if you are at your limit with however number of supplements that you take by mouth every single day, come on in and talk to me, and I will be there at AJ's today, this afternoon. I don't really know what my schedule is. It looked kind of full when I left the other day, but come on in, bring your blood work, bring your bone density reports, bring your reports with regard to how well your immune system is working. All of those reports, blood reports, any type of medical test that you've had, and you want a little bit of information on how to address it nutritionally, by all means, bring them in, and I'll give you the path to focusing your attempts to maintain. And I say attempts because there's always threats out there. We are available at AJ's, and we have a wide range of different brand names that people are very well aware of, well-known brand names, and maybe not so well-known prices.
Oh, yes. Well, you know, the first thing I did when we came in, when Steve and I came up to AJ's Natural Wellness Shop at the Festival Marketplace, the first thing I did was go through the shelves looking at the prices. And these prices cannot be beaten. They are very, very good prices over at AJ's Natural Wellness Shop. And if you want to stop in, you'll see for yourself. You'll be pleasantly surprised. Also, make sure to ask them about the supplements that come in gummy form. That's my favorite way to take supplements. In gummy form, they taste like gummy bears, you know, and everybody loves gummy bears. AJ's Natural Wellness Shop in the Festival Marketplace, very easy to find. The festival is just east of the Turnpike on the south side of Sample Road in Pompano. Head right back to the food court. Right before the food court, look west. You see the information booth? That's where AJ's is. You can give them a call. They ship anywhere, by the way. 954-317-1851. 954-317-1851. 1851. And don't forget, Tuesdays and Fridays at 10 a.m. on all of our radio stations, Janet Cimarelli's radio show. All right, Janet, take care. We'll finish out the week tomorrow. Oh, did I lose you, Janet? Nope, she's okay. I lost Janet on the cell phone, but that's okay. We're still here, and we'll take our break for the top of the hour. Come back with hour number 3. Steve will be joining us in the next hour as well. Back with your calls after this.
It's FM Money Talk Radio Network, WWNN, Pompano Beach. When the pandemic hit America, our nation was caught off guard and unprepared. One of the biggest problems was we didn't have enough PPE because everything was made in China. There is a solution to this problem. Small Business Development Group has formed strategic manufacturers to produce medical exam gloves and associated raw materials right here in the USA. This way, supply chain issues will never be a problem.
It is so freaking cold in here, even with this on. I gotta go turn the air up. Hold on.
Without reliance on the foreign supply chain. Investing in this critical infrastructure is important to the safety and defense of America. Now, here's where you come in. If you're an entrepreneur, venture capitalist, or high net worth individual interested in this investment opportunity, contact Small Business Development Group at 919 area code 654.
The AC was set to 68 degrees.
919 area code
What the hell?
654-6870. Learn more about this incredible opportunity. 919-654-6870.
Small Business Development Group is a publicly traded company. Stock symbol SBDG. Online at c2cpic.com. Find strategic manufacturers online at strategicmanufacturers.com.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate.
That's a little cold, I think. Steve Kane Show.
From Palm Beach Gardens to Coral
Now then.
Call toll free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Dark chocolate is... I love dark chocolate. I didn't like dark chocolate as a kid, but I love it now.
The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-GAIN-1. That's 1-888-GO-GAIN-1.
I turned it up to 70. All right, we are back. Hour number 3 has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. This year celebrating 45 years of the Steve Kane Show on the radio. I told Steve that we are approaching a Florida radio record in the history of the medium. Hitting the 45-year mark of radio broadcasting of the Steve Kane Show in the state of Florida. That's amazing. All right, let's go back to our phones, and then I'm going to go back and hit some of the sound clips from yesterday's disastrous, frightening presser with Joe Biden. Greg 2, you're on the radio.
Hey, Brian, it's Greg.
That's why I said, Greg 2, you're on the radio. I know it was you, Greg.
Doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
No, you're welcome.
I think you sound depressed. I guess your president yesterday being out of it, you sound very depressed.
Hey, Biden.
Oh, here comes the fake energy people. Go ahead.
Listen, Biden is not my president, number one.
I know.
Number two, this mass exodus you're describing, you know, my brother lives in New York. I have several cousins. None of them are moving to Florida.
Yeah, probably because you're here, Greg.
They have jobs, Brian. They just don't leave their jobs.
Oh, that's what they tell you. Maybe they like being that far away from you.
You know what? Come on. That's like sarcasm beyond belief. You know what? They have high-paying, good jobs, and they don't leave New York to come to Florida.
Okay.
Seriously.
So all these New York license plates I was seeing back in October and everything, long before the snowbirds, I was just imagining that.
You went to the license.
See, look what Biden's done. Look what Biden's done to the Democrats. Greg cannot even put a coherent sentence together. I know, you've said that twice, you have 3 times already. They're not leaving New York. Talk about Biden's performance yesterday. I can tell it's really hit you hard.
Listen, Biden is...
He can't, yeah?
Biden should be removed by president.
I can tell you. I hear he should be removed by the president. Oh, my goodness. He's out of it. See what... Oh, man, the Democrats are depressed people. Did you hear Greg, too? He can't even speak. He's stuttering. He sounds depressed. Oh, my goodness. Low energy Greg, too. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. How are you doing?
Hey, Wisconsin, Gary. Oh, my goodness. Greg, too. That press conference really hit Greg, too, pretty hard.
Well, that's why you probably got the nickname, Bidet Greg. But,
yes,
as you were asking about the single word, and I know Mike in Louisiana brought up Katrina, I'm going to put in there Andrew, because basically Andrew was a Category 5, and that is what Biden has done to them.
Yeah.
Hurled it into a complete whirlwind of just disaster throughout either statewide or nationwide or countrywide. And that's, I guess, why many of the other countries around us are laughing at us, even whether if it's Russia, England, Australia maybe, all that is basically a Category 5, because we are basically a weak power. Now, you brought up the shortages of chicken and stuff. We actually, yesterday, after we got done finally changing that tire in minus whatever degree temp, because today we're at minus 21 real feel, so we're really cold up here. But when we got done going to dropping the truck off and plugging it in over at my mother's place, and we went going to Walmart, believe it or not, there was 2 bags left of wings chicken.
Wow.
And that was it. Everything else in the chicken section was gone. The price of meat is so skyrocketed up, which is unbelievable. But granted, if I ever get down to Florida, I will stop at Wings Plus there. But
I want to say this, because I think this is an important thing to point out. Wings Plus, there is a wings shortage in this country that you're talking about up in Wisconsin. And it's a nationwide wing shortage. And Wings Plus, their wings are all there. There's no shortage there. They're not cutting back on the number of wings in the baskets, and they're keeping their prices the same. And that's a struggle for a business owner. And Biden could give a damn.
Right, because Biden, he has people that probably go and buy their food. Same thing with Kamala Harris. Psaki, who knows what she ends up, who's buying the food for her. But those people in those areas, like it was mentioned before on the broadcast, that they probably don't have a shortage because of all these people that live in those areas.
The elitists, the ruling elite, live in the D.C., Northern Virginia area. So Richie the bus driver said he bets those Walmarts, those grocery stores are fully stocked because the government workers, they don't want them to. How can they suffer? They're doing all this great work for us.
Good for thee and not for me. So, that's basically...
Now, but let me ask you, when I was talking about this press conference, do you think Biden is self-aware to know how out of it he was, or do you think he realizes that he was checked out yesterday?
I honestly think because we came inside because we were freezing from trying to change one single tire, but I came in briefly to warm up and seeing how he was reacting on there. He is so far checked out that I think he is absolutely living in a bubble that he doesn't even know that he's aware of himself. Now, would Kamala actually literally pull the 25th Amendment on him? I think it would be a good time for her to do it. But it's so hard to say, Brian, why she isn't doing it. I don't know why she's protecting this president if she's already
Well, she is hysterical. If you go, I'm sure people will show this on television today. When she was there overseeing the Senate yesterday, because she thought she might be able to give a tie-breaking vote. So she was there, and she had to count the votes and announce the vote that the filibuster, it all failed. And as soon as it was over, she got the hell out of there. She threw a fit. She threw a hysterical fit. If you see the video, it's really, it doesn't play on the radio because it's a visual. But if you go online and see it, I'm sure they'll show this on TV. She's a very emotional person. She doesn't think straight. She must not have gone through menopause, even at her age, because she's very emotional. Or maybe she is. Menopausal women are more emotional. Maybe she is menopausal.
Democrats calling in and actually saying what Biden has really done other than maybe one, getting himself into office. But why isn't there any more Democrats that are calling in onto this broadcast and saying what good Biden has absolutely done to this whole year?
Because they agree with us. They agree with us. The Democrats are, I mean, you heard Greg too. He was depressed. He couldn't even put a sentence together.
Got his filter on right to actually block everything to go through his head, but...
Well, he had a wake-up call yesterday. Hey, Gary, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Wisconsin Gary, always good content, always interesting perspectives. All right, our number is toll-free 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Steve Kane will be joining us after the next break. This frightening press conference yesterday, it was hard to watch. 2 hours of that was hard to watch because he's got his finger on the button. I believe it's dangerous, okay, to have this guy there. But out of all the questions that were asked, there was only one question that really addressed the elephant in the room, and that was James Rosen from Newsmax. James Rosen replaced Emerald Robinson. He is the new White House correspondent for Newsmax TV, and he did a spectacular job yesterday. He asked the only real question of the whole press conference, and also he did it with such class. Which is, and he'll get a chance to ask Biden more questions because Biden likes to call on these people because he thinks that he looks good that's why he calls on Ducey all the time. But let me play this. This is James Rosen. And you could tell he was a little shocked to be called on, James Rosen. But when he did, he was prepared and he was so respectful, asking a very difficult question. Listen.
I'd like to raise a delicate subject, but with utmost respect for your life accomplishments and the high office you hold. A poll released this morning by Politico Morning Consult found 49% of registered voters disagreeing with the statement, Joe Biden is mentally fit. Not even a majority of Democrats who responded strongly affirmed that statement.
Well, I'll let you all make the judgment whether they're correct.
Well, I mean, he can, and right there you can tell Biden can't even make a judgment if I'm. He can't even respond there.
I'd like to raise a delicate subject, but with utmost respect for your life accomplishments and the high office you hold. A poll released this morning by Politico Morning Consult found 49% of registered voters disagreeing with the statement, Joe Biden is mentally fit. Not even a majority of Democrats who responded strongly affirmed that statement.
Well, I'll let you all make the judgment whether they're correct.
Well, so the question I have for you, sir, if you'd let me finish, is why do you suppose such large segments of the American electorate have come to harbor such profound concerns about your cognitive fitness? Thank you.
I have no idea.
Then he goes on to the next question. Wow. I mean, and you hear the silence in the room? The silence was like, whoa. Now, what I found that was just amazing. James Rosen really first display as the Newsmax White House correspondent, just did a great job. And then Van Jones, this is, Van Jones, Democrat with Obama, married to Jimmy Carter's niece, all this stuff. Van Jones on CNN with his analysis of Biden's cognitive decline.
And look, I think that part of the reason that answer stood out so much is because some of the other answers were kind of foggy and meandering. I think you have to be honest that you can be a foggy, meandering president, say like Reagan near the end, if you're winning. But if you're...
See, now this is interesting. Now, first of all, Reagan was not foggy at the end, okay? That's liberal urban legends. It's not true. But here's Van Jones on CNN, live analysis, saying that Biden's checked out and foggy.
And look, I think that part of the reason that answer stood out so much is because some of the other answers were kind of foggy and meandering. I think you have to be honest that you can be a foggy, meandering president, say like Reagan near the end, if you're winning. But if you're foggy and meandering on key questions and you're also not winning, then you've got a real problem. And so I think the real challenge that you have is the numbers are out there that are bad, but this party has got to come together and start putting some wins on the board for this president. They either got to start, they're going to either hang together or they're going to hang separately in the fall.
Okay, now Van Jones is calling on Biden to stay in office. He's not talking about resigning, 25th Amendment or anything. He's just saying the rest of the party need to get some wins so he doesn't look so bad. It's okay to be mentally checked out. I don't think so, Van Jones. I don't think so. All right, let's take our first break of the third and final hour of the Thursday edition of Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, 1-888-465-2631. We'll take that break and be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
This is Lori Kane, and I want to tell you about Brighton Dental Care. I just have a lot of work done, and I avoided going to the dentist for a lot of years because I was afraid of the cost. But I went to Brighton Dental for my free consultation, which, by the way, he offers to all Steve Kane listeners. I had 2 cavities, I needed a crown on top and a crown on the bottom. If I were a horse, they would have put me down. So I scheduled my appointment for the next Saturday because Brighton Dental has Saturday appointments available, and they saved me a ton of money. And I will be a patient for life. Don't let cost stop you from taking care of your teeth. Brighton Dental gives Steve Kane listeners incredible discounts on all dental procedures, just like they gave me. Prices are so reasonable, you don't have to worry about the cost. So call Brighton Dental today at 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. You can visit them at brightondental.com and tell them Lori Kane sent you.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Traveling and need a COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work or school. Stop by Any Lab Test
Steve Kane Show.
Or Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs.
Oh,
they offer
hey,
all
hold
the
on.
COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is located in the Sandalfoot Plaza, where Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Call 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the Sole Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Sole Authority today, 954-597-7060.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, 19 minutes after the hour, I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve, you with us? I don't know if you heard the depression in Greg Two's voice from that Biden press conference. He couldn't even put sentences together. It was, ooh.
The whole thing, we were communicating yesterday throughout the press conference, and
Steve Kane Show.
I told you the one word that hit me that described how I felt, and I could feel it right now as I talk about it in the pit of my stomach. Terror. I mean, it was terrifying to watch that. When you consider the precariousness of the world situation right now, with Russia poised to make a move there, and of course the Red Chinese always on the verge of going into
somewhere, Taiwan.
It's hard to imagine. Can you imagine what it will be like a year? We got 3 years to go. 3 years. You saw what he was like yesterday. What is he going to be like a year from today? It's just beyond.
Well, those of you on hold, stand by. Before we get deeper into that, we want to check in with attorney Barry Siegel, who is of the Siegel Law Group, who actually reviewed and reworked Steve's trust. And, I got to tell you, Steve, I don't even know if the Bidens met with Attorney Barry Siegel, if Biden would be able to sign papers at this point with this cognitive decline that he's suffering from. But let's talk to Attorney Barry Siegel. Good morning, Barry.
Good morning. How you doing, Brian?
Excellent.
Very good. This morning, I was just going to talk about, it's called estate planning, what we do. And the whole process is a process. It's not a one-time event in our lives. That's why they call it planning. It continues. And that's because things will change in our lives as we grow older. And we may have changes that we need to make to our estate plan, to make some adjustments. It could be based on the fiduciaries that we named. It could be based on financial situation. It could be based on laws changing, a lot of different things. And that's why at the Siegel Law Group, we think it's very important to make the estate planning a process and a relationship, not a one-time transaction. And that's why we have, as part of our service package, we do a free 3-year review for our clients every 3 years. We invite them to come back in for a free review, and that way we can make sure that everything's up to date. They're going to have an estate plan that works when they need it. Their assets will continue to be funded in their trust so nothing goes for probate. That's our goal, is that our clients have an estate plan that works so they don't run out of money before they run out of life, and they have a plan that's going to work at time of disability and the time of departure.
Yeah, and Steve, Steve just got through the COVID, and Steve, you had COVID. Steve doesn't like talking about the COVID because it's bad memories, but you had COVID pretty bad. You were pretty nervous, and you were calling me up about different things. That's why I was calling around for the IV treatment, and I'd forgotten. Not only am I the executor of your trust, but you have me down as a medical surrogate, and but these are things you've got to take into account. And but I'll tell you this, even during the worst moments of your COVID, Steve, you knew that you didn't have to worry about your family being taken care of because Attorney Barry Siegel made sure that they were when he reviewed your trust. Listen, guys, give Attorney Barry Siegel a call. If you mention you heard him on the radio, it is a free consultation with the Siegel Law Group. The number, toll free, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. Online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Barry, take care. We'll finish out the week tomorrow.
All right, have a great.
All right, take care. Sorry to keep mentioning the COVID, Steve, but I think I think it's important for people to know. The press conference yesterday. In the beginning of the show, Steve, this was Steve's idea, not mine. He said, ask listeners to describe their reaction, their thoughts on the press conference in one word. You said terrifying, and I got a lot of calls on that in the first hour. But Mike in Louisiana, his one word was Katrina, reference to the hurricane. I think it's dangerous, Biden. He would, and this is. Let me tell you why I say that, because I noticed a big shift in him yesterday, and maybe I'm wrong about this. I'll throw it to you, but in the past, Steve, he's had problems since he was running, but he was aware of it. He knew he was lost. He got confused. He didn't have an answer. He couldn't remember something. Yesterday, he didn't seem to be aware of how out of it he was. He seemed to feel like he was looking good. That's why he stayed up there so long and then said, I'll do a lightning round if you ask me quick at the end when he looked at the watch. I think he's lost self-awareness of his condition. And that's what makes it even worse.
But by the way, there was a little dialogue right
Steve
before
Kane
I
Show.
came on the air. They were talking about Kamala.
Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Hold on.
When Kamala is going to make the decision to step in.
Yeah.
Kamala doesn't make that decision. That's not Kamala. Kamala doesn't step up and say, okay, I don't think he's competent now. I'm ready to take over. Who makes that decision? What is it? What are the mechanics of that going to be like? I can't imagine a year going by after what we watched yesterday. I can't imagine a year going by and Biden
doesn't get worse. Well, okay, let me tell you the process, and then I'll tell you how she could do it, okay? Now, I don't think she's with it. Like I was talking earlier, when she stayed in the Senate for that vote last night in case she was needed for the tiebreaker, and once she read the result that they lost, she had a hysterical fit, grabbed her purse, and ran out. She couldn't handle it. So she doesn't think clearly. The process is the vice president and the majority of the cabinet have to sign off that the president's mentally incompetent. They do that, the majority of the cabinet. She becomes acting president, and then the president can go through a process in Congress to fight for his right that he's competent. But there's a path for her to do this, and I'll tell you what it is. They've been angling to get rid of her, right? And there's been talk of trying to find a Supreme Court slot or something else to get rid of her because they don't want her on the ticket and they don't want her to be the nominee next time. But they want Biden out of the way too. If Kamala wasn't so hysterical and had a couple more brain cells, a couple more points to her IQ, she could go to the Clintons and make a deal and say, listen, because the Clintons still have influence. Let's do the 25th Amendment, and I will not, she could do this. I will not run for the nomination in 24 if you back me for this. And the Clintons could work with her so that Hillary has a path. But she's too out of control, emotional. She's obviously very menopausal and can't think straight. But she'd be better than this guy. She'd be better than Biden. At least she'd be awake.
I don't know. It's too problematic. I don't know. It scares the...
Yeah.
Fear doesn't... we believe that words mean things. The reason when we talked last night, I picked that, we talked about that word, what one word strikes you watching this press conference, and my word was terrified, because scared. I mean, who's protecting us?
No one. No one. There are different factions that are running their own little areas of authority and control. That's what's going on.
I don't think Putin cares about that so much.
No. He can do whatever he wants right now. We couldn't mount a response. Like the military is running itself, right? For example, every little agency is running itself.
Military is running itself.
Yeah, Biden's not. What's Biden running? Nothing.
The reality is we have no idea.
Well, I think we do, watching that yesterday. All right, let's take some calls. Our number, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Well, there you go. Oh, there we go. See the liberal response, Steve. The liberal response. You know what? I looked at the clock. Let's take our break for the bottom of the hour. 1-888-GO-CANE, 1 is the number. We will be back after this. Don't go anywhere.
Attention seniors and those who care about them. This is
Steve
Brian
Kane Show.
Craig. I'm in studio with Debbie from
Steve Kane
I
Show.
Will Advisors.
Okay.
She has an incredible new service to tell you about called I Will Advocates. Debbie, what is I Will Advocates and how are you helping seniors?
Well, Brian, over the past few years of owning a Medicare insurance agency, we've learned that there's a huge need for Medicare advocacy, that a lot of people don't have a child or a spouse that can assist them with their medical needs, and that's where we step in.
There's a lot of things that seniors need help with. Prescriptions, doctor's appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling an appointment in a timely manner, we can step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy, having problems refilling a prescription or feel that you're being mischarged for something, you can contact us and we will step in. Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we'll be there for you at a touch of a button, whether it's to call the nurse's station or assist in any other way.
Dude, I'm actually listening to your Wednesday show, because I'm always a day behind. Because I love listening to it overnight while I'm walking the dogs through my neighborhood.
Absolutely, we act as your family.
And I have to tell you, it's a great
we'll call
show.
the nurse's station
And
ask
you're
for
spot
some
on.
assistance. If
You
we
really
can't
are.
get anything
You're
done
at the
there,
top of
we'll
your
go to
game
the
right
higher
now.
levels.
Now,
I'm
this
the
is a
one that's
service
left
that
you a
you're
couple
offering.
criticisms.
Now, they do not have to be
an existing client of I Will Advisors to take advantage of this, right?
Oh, of course not. No, we're here for any Medicare client. We can assist in any way. We don't need to be your insurance agent. We're just here to help you with your medical needs.
This is an incredible opportunity for those of you who are Medicare recipients. Debbie at I Will Advocates will help you with your prescriptions. You'll set up doctor's appointments for them, including the primary care physician and specialist. Steve Kane Show.
Of course, we'll assist in anything helping you find new doctors.
They'll help you with your medical. Hey, hold on.
They'll help
you with your insurance.
Hold on.
If you feel you've been billed wrong by your doctor, they'll step in for that and even help you if you're in the hospital. Basically, what you're offering is a concierge service to senior citizens.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before. So how much does this cost?
Well, for just $20 a month, you will have the security of knowing that you have an experienced, compassionate advocate just a touch of a button away.
To learn more, call
It is so damn cold in here. I turned the air up, but it's still. It's like it was set at 68 degrees. And it's cold this morning, and the air conditioning is blowing so cold over my head. My feet are freezing.
WillAdvocates.com.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group.
Oh yeah, the rain's coming in.
From Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll free 1-855-FLA-3782. Listen to the Steve Kane Radio. Just search for WWN.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve with us. And let's go back to the phones. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Tamara. I'm calling from California. I wanted to say that I kind of agree with you as far as Kamala invoking the 25th Amendment, but she's not going to get any help from Clinton because Hillary wants to be the first woman to be called Madam President.
Well, here's the deal. Yeah, you're probably right about that. You know, you're in California, so sadly you probably know more about what kind of person Kamala is, Willie Brown's girlfriend. She's not a smart person. She's very emotional. I think she's scared to death of the presidency. You know, and she doesn't want anything to do with anything that has to do with responsibility. That's why she abandoned the border, even though she's the czarina of the border.
Yeah, it kind of makes me think, was she even qualified to be our state attorney general? You know, just based off of her actions over the past year. I'm just thinking, like, okay, what actually did you do for the state of California?
Well, she put a lot of black people in jail because their kids skipped school.
Oh, I know that. Well, between her and Biden, I mean, they both have incarcerated.
Let me tell you something. If you put together the number of black people that were incarcerated because of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, they may have a record throughout all of time for the two individuals that are personally responsible for taking the freedom away from the most black people ever. I'm telling you.
No, and I get that. And see, one of my biggest problems is that a lot of black politicians, they keep creating this. It's the Republicans, but California is heavily ran by Democrats, and where we have the most crime is in heavily ran Democratic cities.
Mm-hmm.
Especially to most of my Democratic friends, because I know you say you're not friends with most of them, but I kind of keep a balance, and I ask these questions. How is it the Republicans' fault when you have a Democrat that's running your city,
mm-hmm.
when they're running your county? You need to start asking people.
And what's their answer?
They never have an answer.
Yeah, because where in California are you?
In Los Angeles.
Oh, let me ask you about this girl killed at the furniture store. They arrest the guy, right? They arrested the guy? Okay. Now I'm going to run this by you and see if this is your thought, because this is my observation on that he was in the store 4.5 minutes. I don't know if he robbed her. He did not sexually assault her. He just murdered her brutally. And what I'm wondering is, to me, it looks like the motive, most murders are money and sex. He didn't rape her. I think he killed her because she's white. I think he has been brainwashed to think white people are out to get him by Joy Reid and by Joy Reid and the rest. And I think he killed her simply because she's a white girl. What do you think, caller?
Absolutely. It's really just becoming ridiculous at this point, where there's more and more crime amongst the blacks, and now is that they're going into areas that they normally would not have be actually patronizing. So the fact that he's over in the Hancock area, I'm not
La Brea.
that blacks don't go over there, because usually I will, but the fact that he's a transient and he's just pacing back and forth, and so to me, he was looking for a victim.
He was looking for a white person to kill.
And the fact that they don't really have a lot of police patrolling that area, because if you go over there, it's very quiet. You know, you can actually go for walks. You don't have to worry about anything. But now you have to carry something with you. I mean, I do, and even working at the airport, there's a lot of transit.
What do you do for work? What do you do for work in Los Angeles?
I work for one of the airlines.
Oh, yeah.
You carry with you?
Oh, I have mace.
You refer to
mace
and a taser.
Mace and what?
A taser.
And a taser.
Okay, now let me tell you this about mace. Okay, mace expires, and sometimes women will have mace in their purse for like 10 years. You need to buy new mace like every few months. It expires and it loses potency.
Okay, well, at least I got the taser.
Yeah, the taser will do it. The taser will help you. Yeah, but the mace, go for the taser before the mace. You know, the mace does also, these guys are so hopped up. Mace a lot of times doesn't do much. That'd be, I mean, you know, if you were in Florida, I'd tell you to, you know, have a concealed carry weapon permit, but that's difficult in Los Angeles.
Right, yeah, because we were told, you should call the police. And see, I've had to call, and I was on hold for 30 minutes just to report that someone was trespassing and started a fire.
Yeah. You know, I on the way to work today, I called the police for a girl. And I went to a gas station this morning and to get gas, which I didn't get, and I heard screaming and banging, and it was a girl yelling at this guy. They were both black, and she was banging on his window, and he sped off, and she ran away, and the gas station attendant wouldn't help her. She was wearing her underwear, and the gas station attendant said, call 911. She said, he stole my phone. And I called 911 for her. But the police, and then I waited there to make sure, you know, the police are after the fact. They can't help you when you're being stabbed at the furniture store. You know?
Cases, people, they need to start watching the news. They need to start arming themselves, because at this point, I mean, she's in a store, she's by herself.
Well, yeah, women should not be working alone in any type of retail environment at all, period, under any circumstances.
Right, and it's just unfortunate. She was a very young girl going to school, and he was just looking. You know, he was looking to see who his victim was.
Well, and he found it, and you know what? He probably doesn't even think he did anything wrong. He was so calm, cool, and collected when he bought that vape pen a few minutes later. It was sickening. Sickening. And he was out on bail he was out on 2 different bails in 2 different states for 2 different crimes, and one of them involved a gun. Hey, listen, thanks for the call, but take care. From Los Angeles, California, black conservative from LA. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. Yes, turn off the audio in the background. All right, okay. I'm sorry, too, that you called. All right, our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1. You know, that was interesting, that last caller, not the jerk, the lady before, black woman in Los Angeles who is fed up with the Democrats. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, when's the last time you heard a black woman from LA that's, you know, done with the Democrats? Not very often. And the Democrats are in trouble. But we're in trouble.
They've got to restore what the justice system used to be about, was protecting the public and getting people who were represented dangers to the public off the streets. That's gotten lost. That's totally lost now. Mm-hmm. Worried about the poor people's feelings, and you know, you don't want to upset them, and you don't want to insult them, and everything is so centered towards the perps. But it's got to change. I mean, it's going to. Remember what we always said. I mean, this is the philosophy we've had here on the
Steve Kane Show
for a long time.
Hey, hold on.
The fact is, it's got to get worse before it gets better.
Well, how much worse can it get, Steve?
Well, I just was going to say, when I first said that, it's got to get worse before it gets better, I had no idea of what worse meant. But we obviously have not yet reached it, but we're getting close. In New York, they're getting close. This new mayor, what a loony. I mean, people are getting fed up now. I think we've really reached the point. You see it now with the gun sales across the country. Guns are selling like hotcakes, and people realize they've got to protect themselves.
Well, that's, but not in New York. It's not so easy to get a gun in New York legally and have it and possess it, unless you're a criminal. There's so many hoops you have to go through to be a legal gun owner in New York. That's one of the Did you see the picture in the news yesterday of the people waiting for the subway on the other side of the turnstiles? They're afraid to go through the turnstiles. They're afraid they'll get pushed in front of the train. I've never seen that before. It was really, it tells you a lot. Good morning, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Good, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Melissa from Pompano.
Hey, Melissa.
Hey, Melissa.
Good morning, Steve. I'm glad that you're back. I'm feeling better. I just wanted to comment. My daughter actually lives in Manhattan, New York, and she is a Democrat.
I'm sorry.
Still?
I'm very sorry, too. So anyways, it's funny because I usually talk to her like every day, usually in the morning. She only works 2 days a week in her office, and she's a lawyer. And she's 30 years old. And her husband is, he's in his residency. But anyway, they don't watch the news.
Oh.
Problem. So when I told her the other day about the woman that was, I told her about it, and she doesn't want to hear anything I want to say.
Which one? The woman who was, which woman? The one stabbed to death or the one pushed in front of this train?
Was pushed. So I started telling her the story, like the day that happened. She's like, Mom, I got to get ready for work. I'll talk to you later. Like, she doesn't want to know anything because it's New York, and she knows that I watch the news a lot before I go to work.
So she's not even aware that a woman was pushed in front of the train to her death?
Listen. So yes, that's correct. I don't mean to tell you to listen. But so now it's like 3 days later when I'm talking to her, and she's like, Mom, that woman that was pushed from the push onto the train track, she goes, that's the train I take to work. So now it matters.
Oh, it's about her now. Typical liberal, typical Democrat. It's all about me.
Yeah.
I'm concerned, Mom, because it concerns me when I just thought it was with poor black people on the other side of town. It wasn't that big of a deal.
And I said, why do you think I call you every day to let you know what's going on? Because I know you don't watch the news. It's crazy.
Wow.
The gun. She's so totally opposed to guns. We have a gun, but we're in.
Well, a gun doesn't help you when a guy comes up behind you and pushes you on the train track.
Yeah, but so she said to me, she goes, well, I'm always aware of my surroundings. It doesn't matter. If the guy's 6'2" or whatever, or they're on drugs,
well, let me tell you, sometimes you'll see these stories in the news. Joggers from time to time, female joggers get killed. They get raped and killed by guys. And you see the guys that do it, they're out-of-shape slobs. And the women are almost always in peak physical condition. A woman in peak physical condition against an out-of-shape fat slob is still going to lose because men are stronger. And,
I'm bother her every day.
Well, you should. You be a mom. Be a mom. Let me tell you. Would you rather your daughter come out as a liberal or as gay?
Oh, I don't care. I wouldn't care if she was gay.
So you would be okay. So you'd rather her be gay than a Democrat?
Yeah.
There you go. That's right. I hear you.
But she's always defending because she actually works for the law firm she works for. They defend the union.
Oh my goodness, she's a union lawyer. Oh my goodness.
Say a prayer for me.
Well, hey, she'll be okay because she's got connections to lots of thugs. All right, take care at the union. All right, let's take our last break of the hour. We'll come back with the Gold Report right after this.
AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
So the pandemic.
You know, I saw somebody, I just mentioned this. Some of you know this because I've said this before, but somebody was talking about Betty Boop. A lot of people don't know this. Steve's dad was married to the actress that Betty Boop was based on before he was married to Steve's mother. But little trivia. Hey there.
Of America. Now, here's where you come in. If you're an entrepreneur, venture capitalist, or high net worth individual interested in this investment opportunity, contact Small Business Development Group at 919 area code 654-6870. 919
Steve Kane Show.
654-6870.
No, what's your name?
Learn more about this incredible opportunity.
Oh, Terrence, hold on, Terrence, hold on.
654-6870.
Small Business Development Group is a publicly traded company. Stock symbol SBDG. Online at c2cpic.com. Find strategic manufacturers online at strategicmanufacturers.com.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you. Listen to the Steve Kane Show on radio. Yes, sir.
All right, we are back, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How you doing?
Great. How are the metals looking today?
Metals looking amazing. Yesterday we saw gold trade in a range of $1,810 to $1,844, and closing out the day up $26.70 at $1,840.30 the ounce, a higher number than we've seen in quite a while. Silver up 68 cents yesterday, closing at $24.13 the ounce. Platinum up amazing $45 at $1,026, and palladium up $98 at $1,944. The rally continues this morning. Overnight, we saw gold trading in a range of 1836 to 1845. And right now, gold's at 1843.30. That's up another $3, while silver's up 17 cents at $24.30 the ounce. Platinum up another $24 at $1,050. That one's performing very nicely. As we said, when platinum got down close to that 950 number, it was a screaming buying opportunity for us. And palladium up $38 right now at $1,982 the ounce. So the markets are doing very well in light of what seems to be higher inflation, oil heading for $100 a barrel, and the U.S. dollar getting weaker.
Now, everything's obviously a good buy right now at these prices, but I want to ask you about platinum, because just a few weeks ago, platinum was barely over 900, and you said buy, buy, buy. At this price, is platinum a good buy still?
It is.
Yeah, and platinum, like gold and silver, comes in coin form from the different countries that you find your silver and your gold from as well. All right, listen, give William Youngerman a call. They open up at 10 a.m. The number, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com. Located right here in Boca at 150 East Palmetto Park Road on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. All right, William Youngerman, have a great day, and we'll finish out the week tomorrow.
Okay, you too.
All right, take care, take care. All right, you want to go back to the phone, Steve? All right. Okay, good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Terrence from Coconut Creek, the overnight dog walker.
Oh, yes, the opinionated dog walker. How you doing?
Oh, hey, let me tell you something, man. I've actually left you a couple of recent VMs overnight when I'm walking, and I told you, you're a straight-up, stand-up guy, a lot of credibility, a lot of backbone. And it's funny, man, to tell you the truth, I'm so glad you actually cut that that jerk off, what is it, Coral Springs Al from Coral Springs.
Oh, yes.
You know what he wanted to do? He wanted to tell you off before he actually... It's almost like the person that takes the person hostage. He kills the hostage and then he kills himself. Supposed to be in reverse order.
Yeah.
Himself before you take the hostage. What he wanted to do is he wanted to go out with a grand hurrah, and I'll tell you what, you jerked the rug off from underneath him. He's probably going to call you back, even though he suggested that he wouldn't.
He's been in the well, thank you for that observation. He's been in the YouTube live chat this morning using different aliases, trying to stir up trouble. I know it's him, but yeah, he screwed up.
Argument, conservatism. So what you want to do is you want to resort to kind of crap. And let me tell you, and like I said, I left you a couple of critical...
Yes, you have.
That said, I said that stuff where I go, hey, you create a ruse. No, I know. You go to Disney, everything is cool. You're a good guy. And actually,
well, thank you.
Of recent, when I came back from Ocala, I thought, oh my God, I felt so bad when I actually said...
Don't feel bad.
You're on the radio. I go, no, I hope I didn't say that thing about... I compared him to that animated character on King of the Hill.
Yeah, I did. I played that call you made about conservative Doug. Yeah.
I listen to him too. And let me say this one last observation about Greg too. I think what it is it stems from this long history that he has where he likes to attack you. What you do is you disarm him, and he actually still likes to attack you. He actually succumbed to your advances where you kind of like took him down, and he actually made a coped with you. I heard that. It was neat. It was like a...
Well, Greg 2's problem with me is the same one he has with Trump. He's got a problem with men.
This is what I mean. I wouldn't say you should say that, because I listened to him today and I felt sorry.
He sounded defeated, didn't he?
A little bit of a different voice that he has.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like it's like draining a little bit of the anger and the strength out of it. And what he's doing is, I can't understand why he keeps calling to attack you when he should be calling to just engage in a conversation.
Yeah. Oh, hey, listen, Dog Walker. Take care. Keep. All right. Thanks for the call. Keep leaving the voicemails. We do play them. Yeah, he left a terrible message about conservative Doug when you were out with COVID, Steve. I played it for conservative Doug to get his thoughts on it, but it was more brutal than even I would have said to conservative Doug, quite frankly. But it was. I almost felt bad playing it to Doug, but I thought Doug handled it all right. Well, I'll tell you, I think if you watch liberal news today, I think they're going to move on from the press conference yesterday real quick. There's no way that they can sit there and tell us that was a great press conference. They can't tell us it was anything other than what it was. A frightening disaster. They told Putin, come on into the Ukraine, it's yours. Take it.
Leave that part. That was unbelievable. He gave Putin a free pass.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
It's mind-blowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Only just begun. So we've got 1 year down. How many? 3 more to go.
Yeah. And a lot of 3 years is a long time. This year has been one of the longest years of my life. It's hard to believe that this is just 1 year in. And when Biden said yesterday that he's done more in his first year than any other president, I think he believes that. I think he's that far gone that he doesn't know what the hell is going on. Well, listen, Steve, it's time to say goodbye. Do you want to sign us off?
We're going to be back to do it all over again tomorrow. And until tomorrow at 6 a.m., let's, from our associate producer, Tyler Kane. I'm Steve Kane, you know me, and you know who you are, of course, too. See you tomorrow. God bless America.
Do you think you've come in contact with someone who has coronavirus? Steve Kane's wife...
It is so damn cold in this place. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Make sure before you go you like the video. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And everybody who already is subscribed, make sure you click that notification bell. The air conditioning, it's going to rain like crazy outside. I am...
It was very pleasant. I made an appointment. They got me in within the hour. I was out of there within 20 minutes. Thank goodness the test was negative, and I can go back to work tomorrow.
They turned the air back down to 68. I turned it up to 70. I know they turned it back down to 68 degrees. Who turns the air conditioner on to 68 degrees in the wintertime?
And tell them we sent you.
It's worth 15 minutes of your time to have peace of mind and know that you and your family are safe. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. You can call them at 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsboro. Call them at 561-237.
Jimmy Carter, yeah.
561-237-5009. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business.
Well, listen, guys, I got to take off, but I will see you later, all right? Take care, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like the video before you go, all right?